What's up, friends? I hope you are well wherever you are in the world. Now, I try to practice gratitude every day. And when it comes to my next guest, when I talk about gratitude, honor, and blessings, it's an actual understatement to have this gentleman on. His name is Renato Subotic. He is the father of modern mixed martial arts. His story is unbelievable. From his humble beginnings in Italy, the story of that journey to his transition to Australia and then becoming one of the most famous mixed martial arts coaches in the world, training the elites, the best of the best. This episode is not just for mixed martial arts fans. This is for people who love story, who love insights, who just want to watch a compelling discussion and conversation between two human beings, one of which who has led the most incredible life. Now, I don't know what more to say. I have to make a confession. I went to ChatGPT and asked it to write me an intro for Renato because his story is just unbelievable. And it wrote this incredible, 1-minute intro. It was great, but it lacked heart. And Renato Subotic is all heart. I'm talking, I walked away from this episode a changed man. I cannot wait to present Renato Subotic to you guys. Enjoy. Can I give you a Bruce Buffer style intro?
Of course.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, weighing in. How much do you weigh?
Now too much. 84.
At 84 kilograms, coaching out of Sydney, Australia, Renato, the father of modern MMA, Subotic.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
You're not going to get an intro like that on any other podcast,
No.
my man. So how does it feel to be out of prison?
You started like that.
Bro, can I tell you a funny story? When you Google your name, I'm going to show you a picture.
That's the first things come out?
The first thing that comes up is a picture of you in prison.
What I can say is look, I had the blessing to not been there for a long time. So it was one day, but definitely I always try to get the positive aspect, and it's beautiful to have the freedom to do what you love,
Of course.
And you can see a lot of people who maybe they spend all their life in prison, maybe for silly mistakes or big crimes, and really it's a life loss. So it made me think a lot about that.
Wow.
And definitely it made me appreciate more my free time and also my busy time,
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, it's good to be back.
You've taken a positive out of this experience.
You have to.
You could have easily turned this
to.
into something quite negative, right? Because how did it happen? It was...
So basically what happened is I was invited for a very big seminar, which a lot of people in America, a lot of fighters was attending to participate and meet me, etc. And I was very busy at the time, but this seminar is called a coaching clinic, and it's done once a year, and they get invited probably the most important figure in the moment in the martial arts community, mainly in MMA. So I was blessed to be invited as one of the main guests, and nothing was everything at the last minute. I really wanted to be there, but I knew it will have been tricky because I had the following week a few fighters competing, and the week before also, as you know, you are around our team MMA FFT, and you see how active and busy we are. Yeah. So I told myself, you know what, but I'm just gonna do it. And the reason of the seminar wasn't financial reason, was simply just to meet with member of the community in US, passionate about the sport, and build some connection and do some network. So at the last minute, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I applied for my visa, and everything was great. I fly to America, and I was really in and out. So I was supposed to be staying there basically 3 days, 2-3 days, and fly back straight away because I have a couple of our fighters, Nina and Alessandro, fighting in our show in Sydney professionally. So I was in and out, and everything is going the right way. I don't have much luggage because it's just a very quick one. I arrived to America. Precisely, I arrived to Honolulu in Hawaii, and when I arrived there, I had my flight from Honolulu to California, and I got stopped at the border. I got asked a few questions, and they asked me, "What are you doing?" And I was just completely transparent because on my ESTA, actually, everything is written. I will be guest to a seminar. I'm not getting paid. I'm just getting some reimbursement, which is flight, accommodation, and all of that's very minimum. Who knows? I have the blessing to do seminars all around the world, and I charge a good amount of money to say it. So I'm lucky to have that privilege. And in this case, it was just like something very symbolic, literally just
You wanted to be there.
Just to be there.
More
For me,
important than
the connection and the content were more important.
Sure.
The network than actually the seminar himself. Was to plan something bigger in the future, actually. So anyway, I got stopped. I got asked a few questions, and I'm like, guys, that's all. And I say to them, if you need any information, I put all the contact on my ESTA application of the promoter, and you can contact him and ask anything you need to. If you are worried about prices, because I seen them asking me questions, but I'll be honest with you, at the beginning it was like very light until they put me in a private room and started asking me more questions. And from the room, I wasn't allowed to use my phone. I wasn't allowed to use nothing. From there, they put me in another room. And when I believe I start understanding things are getting serious is when they got me to do a sworn statement.
Wow.
And they start asking me questions. They start asking me to check my luggage and everything. And I just have gym clothes. And they were very I think, looking for something wrong, You know when
Probably
I'm
because they
completely
didn't have anything on you.
It's nothing,
know
I
what I
don't
mean?
have criminal record. I don't. I'm not even interested on political things, etc.
Sure.
Regards America, I'm so into MMA, and that's my whole world, So basically, they search my bag and they're like, "Oh, you don't have enough clothes." I said, "I'm going there for 2 days, And why only 2 days? Because I'm very busy, And the question is almost looking for me to trip on something and had something to say. When the statement goes further, say, "Do you understand you enter in America with the ESTA visa?" I say, "Yes." Do you understand everything you're gonna say can be used against you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just completely true, I'm just here doing what I love. And at the last questions, after the last question, they told me, "Is all correct?" I say, "Yes." "Well, you're gonna get sent to a federal prison." And I'm like, "What?" And I changed my because
this is surreal.
It's unreal, and I thank God and everything to have all these years of extreme preparation, because I almost impossible. It's never happened for me to lose control. I've been through so much in life. I teach people to deal with situation under pressure. I teach them how to manage that.
Sure.
That's my expertise. That's what I'm doing every day.
Yeah.
I have to get some fighter to compete on the highest level and maintain himself calm, composed, and see things clearly. So I'm a master of that. So I'm like, what? How you mean federal prison? Because I start do the maths in my head, and I'm like, look, I can have maybe some visa issue because I'm all about rules and respecting the rules. But clearly, you see me, I'm not an immigrant, I have I have a great life. I'm in a good financial position. I'm having...
And you're not from a country where they would categorize as being full of terrorist activity. You know what I mean? And you're Italian, man. Who doesn't love Italians?
Yes, I know. But maybe, that day was someone on the other end which have some personal issue. That's what I believe. Yeah, but that's where the things get confused, They say to me, look, you have to, we need to keep you in a federal prison until we get your flight back. And at the time, they told me, look, probably and won't be tomorrow, so could be in 1 week, So, and I'm like, guys, look, I can stay in a hotel, and I'm gonna pay everything, and I'm gonna leave after, no?
Sure.
So anyway, long story short, they say no, that's the procedure, and I'm like, okay, listen, it is what it is. What I can do now, what have feared me the most? It wasn't the prison, the things which could happen or anything. It was like not having control of my freedom. Someone came and from nowhere, like, you know,
For no real reason.
let's be honest, you know, if you're a criminal, you know it's coming. Like, you know,
You're always watching your back.
someone, like, you know, you sort of mentally prepare on the outcome,
being
like
caught.
something bad can happen to you. But I'm going for a seminar, and I'm like living a very simple and normal life. When you don't expect that, so I was like, okay, they're gonna send me in a federal prison, but they're gonna have a specific cell or something for someone with visa issue, you know what I mean? Like, and send him back home, etc. Well, when I arrived to the federal prison, first of all, the officers who are taking me, which are different than the one who arrest me, they say to me, man, we all know you here. Hawaiians are very famous in combat sport, and they love combat sport. Say, I actually could hear one of the officers talking with the officer who was having my case and saying like, man, this guy is not a criminal. He's a very well-respected coach. Like, is not the right things. And I can hear the conversation because it's like paper wall between us.
Did you feel like, because this sounds like a major fuck up, right? And did you feel at some point that they're trying to cover it up somehow, but at least, you know, putting you in there kind of validates what they've just done?
I believe it's understandable. Want to like get the rules to be respected, right? But I believe should be case it was very easy to understand my case. I didn't need like an engineer or a doctor or
exactly.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
And there's no actual reason.
You just
no
call
reason.
and towards all of that, they would tell me like, so how much you get in pay? And say, guys, I told you how much I'm getting paid, and it's the reimbursement of my expenses. And I say, if you don't believe me, just call the promoter and talk to him and say, no, we are our way to find how much it's gonna be. And I'm like, guys, you have a number, you just call, you have the answer. I don't know, I'm like this, I'm a martial artist. I'm trying to find the easiest way to understand the problem and solve it, you know? So that would have been the easiest part. Anyway, when they took me to the Honolulu Federal Prison, when I arrived there, I started to understand, okay, this is not really just like a normal facility for someone who's going to be there one day, 1 week, or whenever, no? For a very minor misunderstanding, right? So they start telling me, they stripped me all my clothes, they made me squat, do all the procedure, like, etc. And I'm like, that's not how I should be treated. Like, I'm a very well-respected member of society.
Dude, were you able to call
you
a
know
lawyer?
how they tell you in the film, like, you are able to call your lawyer. That's, I don't know who invented this on the film. That's not true.
It's Hollywood.
So you cannot call your lawyer or anybody.
That's outrageous,
so after
man.
2-3 days you can do that, but like if I'm
2-3 days?
it's too late for some people. And I tell you, like, I seen some stuff in there and I heard some story which have like, I'm like lucky, you know, I'm lucky, and I cannot understand how other people will feel in that case, but I have these tools and these skills I've practiced all my life, and they don't go away if I'm in a situation like that. They're coming with me, but I cannot understand like how a normal person, maybe as I met a German singer, no? He was in the federal prison, and the guy is a singer, and he ended up in a same situation, and for problem he has, which are quite crazy. So he was supposed to be staying there 1 week and get fly back. What happened? He ended up to be unlucky in the cell with someone who wasn't in a good relationship with other members in the prison.
Right.
No, now without going into details, but other member of a prison asked him to to basically hurt this person. And the guy goes like, I'm a singer, I'm not gonna I never hurt nobody.
Sure.
And the guy looks like someone who's not a fighter and doesn't need to be it because he have other lifestyle. No, basically he end up doing what they ask him to do under very big pressure.
Yeah. He's probably scared for his life.
He end up doing something very extreme, and he sadly end up surviving. And now he's in for 1 year or something. And now he's trapped in the system on drugs and pills and all of that. So that's why has to be a facility specifically for people who have like some minor issues like that, you know?
Or even like a transitional. They even have it here in Australia. Like they have a transitional place before you go to a proper prison. Or
you put him like in a specific quarantine.
A hotel with an ankle bracelet.
That's it, you know? It's not hard. So where things go wild is like, so they put me in prison clothes, and they give me a blanket and sheets, and they walk me in the prison, like basically in the yard in my block. So I arrived there, and it's like, man, it's like a movie. It's the Wild West. Like they open the door, I walk in, everybody who have experience to be in jail, they know that, but it's like specific things happen when you are new and you come in jail. So everybody start like banging with metal plates and stuff on the fences and just making noises, trying to like, oh, the new guy have come, you know. And the officer took me to my cell, which was was 2 level, and the prison is actually is quite very intense because it's no natural light. It's all inside.
Fluorescent light.
You don't have like a yard. It's an inside yard in the middle of the like the cells are all around 2 levels, and the yard is in the middle, and it's not looked after well. It's very bad. Like
it's prison.
Yeah, but still, you know, you can do things with dignity. You know, I'm not saying like someone who have done something very bad in life, you give him like a 5-star hotel treatment, but
no, I get it.
At least, you know, if they give you a mattress, the mattress to not be covered in piss and blood and stuff like that was disgusting, man. I'll be honest with you, like animals. So when they walked me to the cell, the officer told me, look, you're still in time to get your lunch meal, so go down. So I left my sheets and blanket, and I went down to get the food. And I wasn't really hungry, but I told myself, you know, I'm going to get the food. I maybe can exchange with someone for some coffee, some milk. Who knows? I can make some friends. Yeah, look, I grew up in Italy, and I grew up, I was doing a project, martial arts for integration. I grew up with people who have done things like that all their life. So I'm not new on that. Don't get me wrong. Even if I keep myself and my hands clean always. And when you are a coach, most of people who comes, especially in the early day on MMA, now have changed. Now you have the doctor, the lawyer doing MMA. But before were people which have very hard upbringing, and they did some mistakes in life. So I'm not really intimidated by something like that.
And you're very aware of it.
Aware, let's say it like that. So I get the food, and I'm going up with my trailer, and I'm gonna leave the food in the room and see what it is. The food is disgusting, of course. So I go up, and like it's a lot of people around my cell. So I'm like squishing myself in, and I realize it's 2 people. I'm not gonna now say ethnicity, etc., but basically were clearly from one section, and they were getting my stuff. They were getting my sheets and blanket, and I'm like, I left my trailer on the sides. The room is like, I'm not joking, it's like 2 times this table, and you have the toilet, so you have your cellies and everybody. Sorry about doing all the pee, poo, like all like in front of you, no, and you're looking at them, and it's like tiny, cold, all metal, no. So I'm like, hey, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm getting my shit. And I say, whoa, that's my shit, no? So he came up to me, and he goes like, so what are you going to do about that? Well, end up very good for me.
You could fuck this guy up, did you?
Well, I end up. I knew it when you are like in a primitive environment. I'm very aware of everything. I study all of this all my life, body languages, etc. So I know what is time to pull the trigger and what is time to like back it off. You know,
dominance.
so I knew like with 20 people watching, 2 people in the cell, and me like backing it up there, like it will just get worse for me. It was like a bit of a hard card to play because like a normal person, I wouldn't ever suggest him to do that. But people who train martial arts, they are by far more dangerous than any like street fighter you can possibly think about it. That's a myth, you know, like if someone trains this 4 or 5 hours a day, have completely another eyes and skills to deal with a contact, you know?
Yeah.
So I end up sorting it out my way, you know?
What's your way? Can you give me the play?
I just
Single leg?
got...
Was it double leg?
No, I just put him on my bed, and
then you put him to bed.
I just make him understand like I wasn't like someone who will have let him
Of course.
take something away from me, because that's how they do, especially, you know.
You're sending a message, right?
Yeah, I didn't look
as much as you didn't want to.
I didn't want to,
to,
and I knew it, like the body. So it's some way someone can come to you, even if they want to talk to you. They come with a different approach. But when someone comes and invade like your complete private space, and his things are on, you know, so it's better to be first, you know. So when I'm dealing with this guy, which end up good for me, the other guy assault me, but the other guy was very weak physically. So when he actually hits me, when I'm dealing with this guy, I hit him back, and they decided to leave the cell because the police also was coming, and etc. And from there, like, I end up now in an extreme situation when I'm like, now I have to deal. I'm here. I don't know nobody, and I already start like this. Now it's not gonna go down the hill, you know. And I don't know if I'm gonna be there one day or 1 week.
And this is potentially going to add, you know, more to what they're trying to claim that you haven't really done.
No, you know what's interesting about that is like some code in there. So I understand everything after very quick. That's when you have experience in life, you can read the situation, no? So I understood that's the procedure. Even the officers, they know. So when 20 people are standing in front of your cell, why they do that? Because the camera are only in the yard outside. They cover the camera. So
was this like an initiation?
Yeah, that's what they do. Everybody who come in situation, like if you come in and you are associate already, you come in and you have your group and sort of like balance the power. But if you are nobody, you understand, I'm there, nobody, they don't know nothing about me, they just know this guy is in for visa. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get his stuff, my stuff have value because are clean blanket and sheets. They can use it. I'm out in 1 day, maybe 1 week, and they have something valuable to exchange for their things. So it is everybody who is in those who've been in those situations knows it's some things you have to deal with from the beginning. And anyway, so now I'm like, you know what, I cannot be by myself in the cell, because now those people are they might decide to come back and
bring more people,
and you can be who you are, like how many people you can deal with, maybe 2, 3, and after, if it's like 5, 6 of them,
and if they have a shank or something,
you don't have chances. That's the reality, you know. So I decided to go to the to the yard, and I sit at the end, and I put like my back against the wall. Like, I know nobody can come from the back, but if someone comes, I can see him, and they might think it twice because it's camera in the yard, etc. So I'm there, like, just very aware and calm, you know. I'm seeing everything. And someone came to me and goes like, "Hey bro, are you the fighter?" And I'm like, how they know, no? And he goes like, they didn't see your ear, they shouldn't have messed with someone with ears like that. Like the guy at the coffee shop now, actually, you know, it just happened now. when the guy say, now I know what you're doing. I can see it from your ears.
It's like a badge of honor now.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you're just an ugly guy with cauliflower ears.
You could be a footballer too. They have cauliflower ears as well.
Yeah, but I didn't have the size of a football player, so maybe. So basically, this guy started talking to me and introduced me to another guy in my block, which was a fighter too, was actually Samoan. And he sadly was there for a bit, and he was actually in jail in Sydney too for other reason. And we start talking, and it's the prison is inside is divided a lot by race, religion, etc. While outside we don't care about that. I don't care where someone is from, their ethnicity, color. I believe the biggest problem of a world, I'm racist against stupid people. You know, that's the problem. It's not where is someone from, color or religion, but there is all divided. So now I'm not gonna go deep into it, but I got sort of like a respect, no, and respect. It's just like we're talking about a completely different society, you know, because respect shouldn't be by violence, but in an environment where it's primitive, you go back on primitive feelings. No,
violence is a currency in jail.
Yeah,
you know? So,
it is. It is. So anyway, I end up learning a massive lesson. Learning like one day you can have everything, and one day everything can be taken away from you. Like freedom is such a it's nothing more valuable than freedom. It's nothing like just for us to go downstairs and have a coffee. Some people cannot do that. Not even in prison, like in some countries they cannot do that. But anyway, the story ended up me being sent back the next day. Get on the first flight, they handcuffed me, took me to all the walk of shame at the airport, all the way to the plane. You are the first one to go on the plane. With your paper. And the interesting part, like I wrote a post while I was there because I was very upset about like I couldn't really figure out what happened to me. Like I'm going to do a seminar, I'm in prison, I'm out, I'm not sleeping one day. The next day I'm still trying to figure out because I don't like injustice. So I moved my lawyers, etc. to sort of and understand like that's how the system it is, you know. You understand, like, people get sent to a prison, the federal prison are private prisons, so they get money from the government, so more people they send, better it is. So it's all a system which doesn't really always reward justice, but money, you know. So I got very upset, and it was interesting because the first wave of people like, this guy never went to prison, you know, and I'm like, guys, like, I wish... I did not, but sadly I did. And I had a lot of very big media pages, television, etc. I'm not going to name it, but the biggest one you can possibly think about it, who they contact me and they tried to make it very political. But for me, it wasn't political. For me, it was like, I find the wrong person who has deal with my case poorly, and I end up paying the price, you know? So... once I was back in Sydney, the first wave of people was like, oh, he never went to jail, it's all invented, until the Home of Affairs of
Homeland Security
actually posted about me.
Oh, wow.
And say like, oh, yeah, he was in prison because he entered with the ESTA visa, and it wasn't like the right one for his, because he's like a well known coach and etc. So they basically confirmed I was there. So now all the people who were saying like he never went to prison, they went like, oh, your story is not real, no? And I'm like, I just wanted to tell my story, not to really build myself up, because it's nothing honorable on being in prison, and it's nothing proud to like. Real tough people are the fathers, the mother who wake up in the morning and they try to provide to their family. That's the real tough. That's the real gangster for me. You know, someone for me who goes in prison, hopefully he had the opportunity to change his life. But for me, it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's not like, you know, oh, I've been there and I'm a tough guy.
Of course.
It's not It's not how it works for me, you know. And so it was like so much hype until, you know, my lawyer proved with documentation some things which have happened, etc. And now, yeah, it's been a very important experience for me.
Sure.
Definitely made me understand the value of the cup of coffee, you know. And I understand how important it is for anybody to train martial arts, because I cannot even imagine how will I been end up in that situation if just before I went in there, someone took away all my skills, not only technical but mentally skills.
100%.
You know, we used to deal with very stressful situation and find a way to win and perform. So yeah,
you could have blown your stack at any point in that whole situation and made it worse for yourself, but you kept it cool. You didn't give them a reason to add on to,
yes,
you know, whatever they were trying to get you for. But I just don't understand how, because of a visa issue, you could be put in a federal prison.
And you know what's interesting?
That's crazy.
After me, which I was probably one of the first cases in Australia, I heard about a girl who was a former police officer, and she went to visit her husband, and she ended up in the same situation. And once I actually post about it, a lot of people, hundreds of them contact me, and they start saying to me, like, I've been in the same situation. I'm like, so that's all I wanted. I wanted just to tell my experience of a man who is there trying to bring value to a sport, no? And share my knowledge, my passion. I think, like, I believe in rules, and has to be rules so we can move forward. But I believe my case was so easy to understand, very easy. Like, someone blind could have understand everything was going on. And it was just like, I felt like was personal, you know? And I wouldn't have been good with myself if I didn't say what I feel, you know? Because I have a lot of people looking up to me with my content. I'm not trying only to help people skills-wise in a remote area around the world to someone in Africa. One of my biggest following is in Africa. I met now the Angolan team, and they're like, Coach, thanks to your video, we can train on the highest level. You give us video for free. But the other aspect, which for me is even more valuable, it's the value, the morals, the mindset I want to bring with my figure, you know. I want people to learn to feel comfortable in their self. It's such a beautiful, you tested on yourself. You walk in the gym, you have no skills, and you are, I'm not saying shy, but you are like not confident, right? And now slowly I see you week by week, you getting your confidence up. You walk straight, you walk with different energy. Think about it like a young woman who maybe, I cannot even imagine, like normal people, you know, they walk on the street, and especially for a girl, she might feel like very unsafe, you know? Think about it when someone gives you confidence, and now you know you can deal with an extreme situation if has to happen. And yeah, so that's what I love the most about fighting. I love see someone come in the gym struggling, and now I have the tools to make him happy, you know, and a better person. It's nothing more powerful than have the opportunity to make someone happy.
And there's nothing more powerful to have somebody like you that wants to give so much, if you know what I mean, like in that kind of position. Actually, I'm really curious. I want to get to, you know, how you ended up here in Australia.
Yes.
First, but I want to ask you, more importantly, because we're on this kind of train of thought right now, there must have been a point in your career where, you know, you obviously started as a fighter and probably had hopes and dreams of wanting to, you know, be, you know, a successful fighter. What was the catalyst in that journey that made you realize, you know what, I think I want to be a coach? Because the coach's path, it's not a simple path. It has to have so much purpose behind it. You can't just wake up in the morning and go, I want to be a coach, right? Because you're literally saying, I'm now going to live for others. I'm going to give others, and I want other people to succeed above all. You're putting them first, as opposed to when you're a fighter, you really have to think about yourself as well.
Look, I've been
was that
in both
time?
position, and being a fighter is so much easier.
Right.
You have
Of course.
a task. No, you're a soldier. You prepare yourself and you execute what you have prepared. Of course, it's so much you have to deal with.
Of course.
But being a general, it's all another story.
Yeah.
You know, when a fighter win, you as a general, you win, but you don't really win. No. But when they lose, the general is the first one who is to blame. You know, so it's a very hard position. First of all, I believe one thing is to be a great coach, someone has to have passion. You know, everything you want to teach, no matter what, doesn't need to be fight. It can be music, your passion.
Yes.
You know, you have to have passion because someone passionate already has the right way to get to your heart. You know.
Right.
So what was the transition for me? Like I was blessed to not being a very talented fighter. So why I say I was blessed? Because I didn't have like crazy knockout power, speed, or flexibility of all like those attributes, but I needed to work on I needed to go in detail technically to make things work for me.
Okay.
So I became very technical, and I believe my talent was my fighting IQ. So I always look at the fight like two people challenging themselves with skills, and now it's not only point to win. You have a different way you can win. It's how I can win without getting damage. Okay, because the point is like I want to end the fight, the battle, without in the best way possible. That's the pure essence of a martial artist. You know, you can also win and go to war and get all damage around you, and for 2 years you cannot fight anymore. So my blessing was not being talented and made my fighting IQ my biggest talent. So for me, when I actually transitioned from athlete to coach, was very simple because I was already thinking in the correct way, you know? So I did not, sometimes you can have an amazing fighter who have won everything, but he cannot teach you how to land a jab.
Sure.
You know, because for him it's so easy, so natural.
Yes.
And so it's all another skills on that, no? Yeah. And I was put in a position to become a coach. While I was fighting, I was very obsessed. I wanted to be the best in the world. I have only one goal. I didn't care about going out. I didn't care about a party, girls, nothing. I just wanted to be the best in the world. So I was training day and night. And one Saturday night, I was running because I had all these things to do the opposite what people are doing. So if at 11 o'clock at night my friends are partying, I'm going to run. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run in the city. I almost challenge my mindset. I'm like, I want to see them having fun. Right. I want to see them having good time. And I want to test my will to become what I want to be.
So like literally zero out the distractions.
Exactly. And actually test my will.
Wow.
Because life is going to test your will regardless. But you can have these micro trainings in your mindset, no? Which a fighter does constantly. Like you have a beautiful birthday party, everybody's eating cake, and you're like, no, I have a fight. I need to be disciplined, you know? That's
tough.
That's what they say, like motivation and discipline are two opposite things. Motivation comes and go.
Right.
You can wake up tomorrow, be really motivated to be the best fighter in the world, right? The next day you can be very sore because you're training so hard, so your motivation is low. But discipline doesn't care about how you feel. You wake up and you know you have to go to training. Yeah. You have your schedule put on, and discipline allows you to come to the top, not motivation. Motivation at some point, especially when you achieve great things in any field, motivation goes down. Yeah. But because you have put the discipline in place, you are still able to perform and perform even better, because now you don't have expectation.
Yeah, I read a really funny quote about that, and it said, motivation is a shady motherfucker. Because it's very driven by emotion, right? And how you're feeling at the time. Whereas if you've got good habits and, like you said, discipline, that's just a innate thing that just happens without you even thinking.
Exactly.
It's like waking up in the morning, open your eyes, right? Yeah.
So basically, this Saturday I was running, and a guy in Italy who's a very big troublemaker, he stopped me drunk while I'm running.
Is his name Tony? All the Tonys I know are troublemakers.
Not
or
Tony.
Vito. Or Vito.
But look, I can say it. His name is Carlos.
Oh, there you go. They're the other ones.
He stopped me. He's like all drunk. And he's like, man, I want to be like you. I want to change my life. I want to fight. I want to do. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So no, I'm talking serious. I cannot do this. I'm like, my life is all a mess. Drugs, alcohol. I need to get my life on track. And I said to him, listen, come at 12 o'clock at the park tomorrow and let's train. And I say it so lightly, knowing he will never show up. The next day, discipline, I'm at the park training. He shows up.
Wow.
And we start training. And he said to me, what are we doing? I love it. Like, I want to do more. What I should do? I said, come tomorrow. I'm here every day at 12 o'clock. It was summer. Like Italy, everybody's partying. I'm training, you know. Yeah. So the next day he comes back with 2-3 friends. So the next day, more people come. So at the end of the summer, 3 months later, I had 120 people in the park training with me.
That's crazy.
And now I'm put in a position, wait a minute. I have all these people.
How do you manage 120 people?
Oh, like, look, I grew up in Italy and I had a lot of respect of people around me where I grew up because we call it like, I was really a man of honor. When I say something, I always respect my word. It doesn't matter how hard it was. I come from a very humble upbringing. My family was immigrant in Italy from the Yugoslavia war, etc. So when I came there, I didn't have cousins. People protect me. So I need to be respected. And being a fighter has already give you that status. And also, look, I'm not, as I told you at the beginning, even if I never have engaged in sort of contests, but all my friends we grew up in a very rough environment, you know. So we have not many ways to get out, but sport and study is one of them. Right. And I really put everything into the sport. So since the beginning, every time I could have made bad choices, I had the sport coming so much before that, and I'm like, guys, I cannot go out, I cannot do that, I cannot drink, I cannot smoke, I cannot use drugs, I have to fight, and all of those things. So I've kept me very disciplined, no? And at some point, while at the beginning people try to convince you to do that, with time, it happened the opposite. So whenever someone will come to you and say, hey, Renato, do you want a drink? Someone of my friends will go to him and say, no, bro, he's a fighter, he doesn't drink. No, and I took it like I was so proud on be different, you know. Yeah. But when I started with the project, I was only 18. I was a kid. So you need to understand, when I coach 120 people, which is all the footage, you can go on the MMA FFT page, Instagram, you scroll all the way down, and you can see hundreds of kids training in the park.
And
no kids.
You were just 18.
I'm 18.
Wow.
And I'm coaching people who are 35, 40. I've coached people who have done 10, 15 years in jail, and they're coming there because all I'm doing, first of all, I offer a service for free. I'm not asking you anything. They just wanted to change your life. Sure. And we built something very incredible back in Italy. Something probably, of everything I've done in life, this is the things I'm most proud of. Because Italy was so divided by ethnicity, Sicilian, Naples, Eastern European, Africans, so it was all divided by group. My team was the first team in my area, in any discipline, which everybody was welcome from any ethnicity. So what happened, I actually was the key, you know, how people can become powerful. You know, what's power? Power comes from respect, comes from value you can bring, because you cannot be powerful if you don't bring any value, you know. Sure. So power, sometimes people get confused with something negative. Power is very important. If you have power to change people's lives, it's a massive thing, you know.
It's a huge responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility. So what happened is I sort of gained the respect of all the groups because they're training with me, and they're soldiers. They're guys who they just waited for an opportunity to change their life. Now, don't get me wrong. You have also troubles, you know, a lot of troubles. So I will be at home and my phone rings 2, 3 a.m. at night. I was there for a bit, because if I say I'm having your back, I'm having your back regardless what. At some point I have not only like I had like the son of the mayor training with me, or the son of a doctor, physiotherapist, and son of criminals, lawyers, police officers. But my team became almost like Switzerland. Nothing could really ever happen, because it was like I give some biggest purpose than all those bullshits.
Sure.
So I will be waking up at 2-3 a.m. and the police calls me and say, Renato, one of your students is caused trouble, and instead of them to, that's what I love about Italy and about those things, instead of to put him in trouble, they will call me. I will come there, leave home at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and at the time I'm working in IKEA, so I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every morning, 4 a.m., moving boxes in the morning, training 2-3 times a day. It was a very, very tough journey. I looking back, I don't even know how I did it. But I want to touch base on this because I love what I achieved my respect and all my stripes doing good. No? Yeah. So at some point, I'm helping a lot of people, and I don't have much financially, right? But I gain an incredible source of power, which is me as a person. Yeah. So a lot of people come to me, they ask me about to help them. Like I had one family of another of my students say the school doesn't want to get him back in school because he ended up like burning the gym of the school. So fair enough, I wouldn't get him too. Still. But he changed a lot. Right. And I went to talk to the principal. So not his parents. His parents sent me. So I went to talk to the principal, say, look, I voucher for the kid. He's a good kid. And he said to me, Renato, I know what you're doing. I know you're helping a lot. And he knew because, as I say to you, I didn't help only the bad kids, but my gym was open to everybody. No?
It was diverse.
It was crazy, man. Like, it's insane, because when you go back and you look at the footage, you are like, this... Like, if wasn't the footage, is a movie. It's not real. Yeah. So I built an illegal gym under a soccer field stairs in a magazine. Was illegal. The first day we went there, so after the summer we needed a place to train, so we start training in one place. After, the only time the mayor was available was like at 9 p.m. at night. But my gym keeps growing, and imagine, like, it's free. So if people come to train, like, everybody has access. So you have a lot of people coming, sure. And we have built all this incredible system, man, which I cannot even explain how this is possible. Like, it sounds unreal. So we had all the oldest boys who have the car, who will collect 5 of the guys, the troublemakers, etc. Sure. So at the end of the day, because they're never in time, so disorganized, no discipline, so we start putting discipline in place. So we established this hierarchy, which is for a good purpose. Sure. So we collecting these kids, everybody comes in the gym, boom, you have in the gym like hundreds of people training, and I'm telling you, the level of technique was close to 0. But the will to fight was 100, So we move into this illegal gym. Galdino, I have to name this guy, he contacted me, said, Renato, listen, I have this space, but it's illegal. You can't really promote it, I say, okay, all good, but we need a place to go because we need to train and we want to do something with this sport. So the problem is, like, when you have a lot of people in the community, you don't need social media. People are gonna hear it, like, that gym is there.
Was MMA big at the time?
Zero. Wow. In Italy was 0. My gym became the mecca of the MMA in Italy. At some point, all the best fighters in Italy, they will come to train with me.
That's incredible.
It was insane.
Are you in touch with any of your old crew?
All of them. Yes.
The gym still exists?
It still exists. Yeah. I actually, if you go on my social media, I went to visit 2 years ago and I posted about it. We built the boxing bags with the tire from the cars, old tire with... CrossFit. Yeah. I'm not saying I invent CrossFit, but I was flipping tire and chin-ups in the park with the guys because we didn't have equipment, so we have to invent them. But you know, a funny story is like the first day we went there, I had 300 guys, all the community, cleaning everything, cutting the grass, painting to build the gym and putting the mats. No, and at the time we didn't have real mats. We had the karate mats because it was cheaper, and we find them secondhand. Someone donated. So the guess what happened on the first hour we're there? The police came.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, what's going on here? Like, this is not possible, because like when you build a gym, you have to have some,
You got insurance, public liability.
you have to have like the emergency door exit, fire extinguisher, all of those things, right? And he goes like, who's behind all of this? What's happening? So nobody's talking, nobody say nothing. And they're like tough guys, not normal guys.
Yeah.
And I put my hands up and say, me, and they arrest me.
Oh.
So they put me, they didn't put me in jail, but they took me to the police station, and they said, Renato, like, you cannot do this, like, you need all of this. And say, listen, and I find, so you see, for example, a lot of people are against the police, and I'm saying, like, in every field you have good and bad. But I met a very good head of the police in my town who said, Renato, you cannot do that. And I said, listen, the reality is this, or I do that, or those kids, they're gonna go all on the streets, and I'm gonna leave it to you.
Yeah.
And
You're making their job easy.
I make the job easy.
Yeah.
And he say, man, I know what you're doing. I respect, listen, we're gonna close an eyes, but no drama has to happen. I say, nothing will happen ever in my gym, because my word, as I told you, have more value than anything. Everybody knows when I say something, I'm gonna do it, is already done. So for 4 years, we were that underground magazine with rats, no showers, no nothing. And I built some of the best athletes. Some of the guys made it to UFC. Some of the guys made it to Bellator and all the biggest promotion. And never they came once to bother us. Actually, I believe they look a lot up to the project I was doing, and I indirectly support that. So that's something which I'm very proud of. And so when you help a lot of people, I sort of never ask much in return. I really, going back, like why I choose coaching, I think people have choose me.
Right.
I believe like I didn't have choice at some point.
This life has chosen you.
Yeah.
This path.
Like I just felt like people was so drawn into follow, to have a purpose, you know, and see me so passionate about something. I put like a community together, and I never wanted to be the guy tell you what to do.
Sure.
I actually always grew up a lot by myself. I was always training, and I knew like I have a lot of friends, don't get me wrong, but I needed to isolate myself if I wanted to make it in something positive, no? So I believe, to answer to you, I was in my prime, and who knows, is a lot of great fighters out there who had the chance to train with me, and they made it to the top of the industry. And who knows what was my level at the time.
Sure.
I could have been without any problem on the top, you know, but I didn't have that ego anymore. I believe someone should fight when have something missing in life, you know. A guy who have everything and he has a beautiful life, no problem, I tell them, don't fight. Why you should fight? For what? Do it recreationally, do it to feel good.
Sure.
Now, I'm not talking about missing something financially. Finances is you have guys who financially have everything, but they have other things missing, and they need fighting to keep themselves there.
Yeah.
And you have guys who, like the Mike Tyson story, they don't have nothing, and fighting becomes everything. So I believe you should fight when you have something missing in life. A fighter is a fighter because has an instability, and through fighting they're looking to balance their life, you know.
Right.
So I start to feel very, very fulfilled and happy in my journey as a coach. And I'll be honest with you, it was very hard to give up fighting because it was my identity for so long. And I'll be honest with you, I was actually a very different fighter too. Probably every fighter say that, but like my interest, it wasn't only about the punch, etc. My interest was in the philosophy, in the history of the sport, in statistics of what works. Like I really tried to treat now. They're using AR or ChatGPT to analyze fights and fighters. I was doing that to pen and paper, you know.
Which is probably why it makes you such a great coach, because these things are innate in you. You know, you can see that. Like you said, with your fight IQ, you're able to see things. And the thing is, ChatGPT and anything digital, they're not in the ring. You know, like what Tyson said, you know, all game plan goes out the door once you get hit in the face. You understand what actually happens in the ring.
Yes.
So your IQ and your understanding of it surpasses anything that ChatGPT could offer.
Look, those tools are very important to use. A lot of fighters are using that right now. If you watch one video I posted where is Ilia speaking about it, before he was getting ready for Oliveira fights, and I had the privilege to do some work with Ilia and have him here in my gym. Merab also, and other great fighters who they came to visit me while they were in Sydney, and he had like all statistic about how many right kicks Oliveira throws, how many left, where he throws them, where in the octagon, where he's more comfortable. All these data which are too important in the modern MMA. If you don't use data and you're like, oh, you shouldn't, like, you should just fight. It's not like that.
Sure. But there's a certain aspect of when you're in it, that data can't...
That's the emotional part. You as a coach should bring your fighter on a mental stage where he's so calm and relaxed and he can see everything happen in front of him. You know, a lot of fighters, emotion are very interesting, you know. When we are scared, you know what, we try to be emotional because we feel like with something moving, we can produce more movement, you know. But emotion can, 90% of the time, emotion is not something positive when you step in the octagon or to do something very stressful. Right. Think about it like if you have to shoot an arrow in the center with 100 meters and you have only one shot to do it. Like you don't want to, like if you're emotional, you try to hit it, like the percentage of you missing is almost like 100%. You have to be calm. You have to breathe slowly. Your heartbeat have to be, your focus change. So that's how a fighter should come to the octagon. Whenever one of my fighters is emotional and is letting like the trash talk or whenever affecting him, they can play that game, but that's the game. The fight is real. On the fight day, you can see a lot of those fighters. The most famous one, weighed in, trash talk, everything, but when it's time to fight, boom, they're like in the zone, in a different mindset.
Is it important to walk into that octagon wanting to have fun?
Every fighter is different. Having fun.
When I say fun, I mean in such a calm mindset and such a belief in your skill set.
Okay,
and your
calm,
coach and corner.
Calm doesn't mean calm. When I meet calm, have to meet with the criteria of being ready. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can be calm and you can be soft. You have to be calm, ready, which is different. So you have to be focused on a way where. What happened with focus? Do you ever like been focused so much on a point which you really don't see what's happening? That's the extreme part of trying to get yourself over focused. Because what is a coping mechanism your brain does is almost putting fog in front of you, and you're like, oh, like I was too much into it. That's why like you cannot imagine like this. Imagine like a line in the middle, of these two boxes. Right. And you want to get yourself not too high, not too low. Or too low. You want to be vibrating there in the middle. If you are too high, okay, you are too emotional. You everything around you move too fast. Right. If you are too low, everything moves on a way you cannot see it. Your eyes are too slow. Your brain is too slow. So you have to get yourself on that calm stage, but ready. You know,
how do you get to that stage? Because you know, I just
experience.
And this is just not for fighters too. Like for anybody in any walk of life, how do you maintain that calm?
That's a great question. You know what we have as human, which other creature they don't have, or they don't have on our stage. We are gifted by something very beautiful, and it's called imagination. So we're gifted by something so beautiful, which allows us to play things in our head without make them happen in reality. What I mean with that, if I'm stressed about a fight and I cannot perform, or a performance, like maybe you in music, right?
Sure.
You can play that concert, that fight in your head 10,000s of time for free. For free. So what I believe is a very important things a fighter or any performance should do is visualization and manifestation.
Okay.
Manifestation, it's so real. Whenever I manifest everything I have right now in life. I knew it. I will be one of the best coaches in the world. I know I'm not the best one yet, but I know 100% I will be the best one. I manifest that every day. I wake up every day, and it's not like I'm only manifested. I'm putting in the work to be there.
Sure.
You know?
Do you do it in a sense where you actually feel like you already are, but you also have an understanding that you've still got work to do? But
yeah,
you're
I
feeling
know.
that.
I know. It's always work to do.
Yeah.
Anybody who is a successful businessman or athlete, etc., they think they can do better. You know,
What's that famous saying? To be number one, you have to always train like you're number two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I believe as human, we have this gift, which a lot of people, they don't use it. Like you can be locked in your room right now and be on holiday at the Maldives, you know, and be there swimming in a beautiful ocean.
You know who the best at this mindset is? Children.
Yes.
It's almost
That's
like
why they
you've got to be
live freely, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And I believe in that. One thing some make fighters do is like to visualize the fight, make them step in the octagon, see how things are going, and see also. I believe in three type of visualization. One, I'm talking about fighters, is seeing yourself inside fighting, and you see the punches almost like you are in the first person, right? The second visualization, you see in yourself almost outside, you know, like a camera looking at the fight.
Like
so you see
a spectator watching.
And the third visualization is what your opponent sees.
Wow.
What do you think he sees? Because the best way to know your opponent is think like him. In this way you can predict what he's gonna do, you know? Because we all it's like war, no? We all go into war, we put our strategies in place, but it's not only your strategy. He's having a contra offense on what you're planning to do.
100%.
So I think practicing and visualizing what you're about to do is the key for you to take that performance anxiety away and give you a chance to perform better.
So can I ask you, in our daily lives, for most part, and I know for myself, a lot of people have that propensity to overthink. And even when it comes to visualization, there's still other things that just start to creep in and kind of like hinder your ability to just solely focus in on just that one thing that you're trying to do. How do you tune that out?
Define overthinking.
So overthinking for me is when I start to ruminate over something that doesn't exist. It's not happening, but in my mind it's happening. And I'm basically turning it into something that's going to consume me to the point where I can't think of anything else. And so now it doesn't happen to me as much as it used to.
Happen to everybody.
Yeah, but I would imagine as a fighter and you're trying to visualize this one aspect and you've just had a huge argument with your girlfriend, for example, and then you're trying to focus, but then that's playing on your mind. How do you get them to just laser focus in on this visualization?
So it's a very hard work. Yeah. So I want to break down something which you say it so perfectly, and you already answer to yourself how to deal with overthinking. You say something like that. I'm like thinking so much about these things, but they don't really happen. Well, that's your answer. Yeah. You're thinking about something which doesn't exist. Yeah. So you have to bring yourself. Remember when we spoke about you're too high. So you have to really imagine like these two lines. One is the highest, and one is the lowest,
Right.
and you want to be in the middle.
Yeah.
There you can think. There where you to be, where you can be free. The key for you to beat. So what's overthinking? Overthinking can be only in the overthink about the future or the past, like, right?
Yeah, that's right. Things that have already happened, you have no control over,
Yes.
and things that haven't happened.
That's how you can only overthink,
Sure.
in this two way. Well, the key to beat that is being in the present.
Yeah.
Understand it's you have to do your best to have things under control, but you cannot control people.
Yeah.
You cannot, like, don't get me wrong, you can do your best to be the best partner, fighter, whenever, but things will happen in life. I could have gone to America and been so happy about my seminar, etc., but I could not control how I end up in a federal prison. You understand?
Crazy.
So once things happen, just understand now you have to be in the present to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a problem now. One thing which is very interesting, I think this is coming from a lot of experience. For example, for me, I go daily through big problems to solve, right? And sometimes I get overwhelmed and think about, because there are big problems, you know. Sometimes you have a guy coming to your gym and he's going through some addiction problem,
Right.
and he talks to you. And now the problem is, like, if you are a real coach, it becomes your problem too.
Yeah.
And now it's a big problem for me because, as I say to you, I don't give up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take this role, this responsibility, and not be there for people when they need me, right? So what skills I have gained after all these years of getting through a lot of things, which I'm very grateful right now. I'm grateful, but I wish some of them never happened, because that's the truth. You know how people say, like, oh, if I go back in the past, I will do everything. I wouldn't do everything I've done. If I could have choose to not experience some trauma is not always good.
No.
So trauma can be positive, but other trauma, like, they're gonna stay with you forever, right?
course.
So one
But
skill
what about like, do you love who you are today?
I have to.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm so proud of where I came, you know.
100%.
I came from a poor family escaping war.
Yeah.
I was born in Slovenia. I was raised in Italy. We didn't have money to buy grocery. Right now, I do what I love. I travel the world. I have so many happy people around me smiling, because the happiness for a man is a completely different happiness than for a woman. We as a man, we are so happy when we see people around us being happy. And to be honest, is the most beautiful happiness a person can experience. Like, for me, materialistic things, a beautiful car, or I've been all around the world. I travel everywhere. I've been in situation which is insane. So I learned to do something, you know. It's a very beautiful thing you say. A lot of people these days, they struggle with depression, right? But you know what people don't talk about it? A lot of people these days are struggle with happiness. Nobody teach people how to actually deal with happiness. It's like, think about hormonally. Happiness produce you so much hormones. You are in such a high, but these highs is not gonna stay forever.
That's right.
So now a lot of people are scared about happiness these days. And you know, it's like that saying God, if you ask for strength, God doesn't give you strength, but it gives you challenges to become stronger. What about if he does the same with happiness? What about if he gives you today happiness? He gives you a beautiful partner to have a beautiful life with. He gives you an amazing family, amazing friends, but he's testing you if you're able to keep it. No? That's why a lot of people are sabotaging themselves when they have everything in life. So how you deal with that is to appreciate the present and understand tomorrow everything can change.
That's right.
But you can do your best on your sides to respect yourself and respect the people around you. And it's so much you can control. It can happen at tsunami right now here, and a lot of happy people won't be happy after that.
Yeah.
So it's so much you can control, but the things you can control, respect them. Respect them. Make the decision of understand if things good way come your way, you deserve them. It's very important to say that. That's why a lot of people these days are very addicted to drugs. It's not about the down, it's about the up.
Just keep that up going. And I believe, and I agree with you, with happiness, you need sadness. They need to be both embraced as a part of life and equal value.
Yes.
Because when you're sad, you appreciate happiness more, and vice versa. And that comes back. But I do want to say something about the comment you made about happiness being a very male trait. I will go back to my mother. My mother basically has so much joy in giving to others as well too. So it could be like a maternal thing.
Oh my God! Yeah, like
all
that word. I can speak for a male perspective because, like I will lie if I'm be able to speak about a woman's feeling, because let's be honest, as men,
we don't know shit.
We still need to figure that out.
We're reading books and we still don't know shit.
I cannot imagine of what a mothers go through. It's nothing more powerful than a mother.
Yeah.
And my mother is the same like your one. I believe what I'm trying to say, like for me, it's very important to, I find so much joy and peace on seeing people around me in a good place, right? Probably because it's also my role in the community on what I'm doing. I want kids come in the gym and he has a dream. And now I'm like a Rocky movie. The song starts, dun, 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 no? And I'm like teaching him a skill, how to throw one hand, two hands. Now we start with wrestling and he's getting up, he's getting confident, he's getting good, and he's up, and now I take him to a fight and it's his first challenge, emotion. Cassie, Cassie, I love Cassie, is a very unique, incredible person. I'm so close to Mirko, her partner, and her, and I took a big challenge on coaching her because she also is a person who have been through a lot in life, and that's why I'm so motivated as a coach. And that's where the power of coaching comes, is having all these figures coming in your life, and it's not like only you giving them, but they teaching you and they giving you, And she was at the IMAF World Championship. Cassie, it's so fucking good. She's an animal. She could be a IMAF World Champion tomorrow, but she's still dealing now so much better with her insecurity. So before the World Championship, I can see I can see everything how it's gonna go. And now as a coach, sadly, if you know the end of the book, it's
how do you when you know the end of the book, how do
you have some
motivate?
you have some tools, but at the end of the day, the final shift is made by the athlete. He's the protagonist, not you. You're not gonna fight for them. So on the weeks leading to the World Championship in Uzbekistan, I can see Cassie almost playing to be over secure on herself, because that's the first sign of insecurity. Pretending to be tougher, pretending to be stronger, because you try to cover insecurity. So I talked to her and I said, listen, you know what's gonna happen at the World Championship. It's gonna happen like this. You're gonna go there, okay? I'm telling first of all the perfect story, right? But I'm telling you after, I know how you feel, And it's interesting because after the convention, she laughed, and every athlete, every person feel very unique and special, right? On their feelings. How you can possibly know what I feel? That's so much love. How you describe love? You cannot. I love more than anything. No, everybody says that. But the point is, like, I saw that hundreds of times. When someone feels special about in a specific, I'm talking about fighting, which is life too. I look at them and they're telling me the story, and I heard that. 100 times. So I said to her, listen, what you don't want to happen is this. You're going to go to the World Championship. You're ready. You're prepared. You're good. You're strong. But you're trying to sabotage yourself. And you're going to go in the cage. You're going to fight against whoever it is. And because you're not in the present, you're thinking about what's going to happen or whenever, you're not going to end up performing well. You know what's going to happen? You're going to walk out of the cage and you're going to say to me, Coach, you were right. It wasn't that hard. And I tell her everything. At the end of the World Championship, I wasn't able in that case to get her because that's her journey. Yeah. She needs to get, and she grow so much from there.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Because I can tell as a father to my kids, don't put the hands on the fire, but they're going to learn only when they burn themselves.
We were talking about this just before, too, how important it is to have a loss, remember?
Exactly. No? So after that, he goes to me, Coach, I can't believe it. It's exactly what you say. And I know I'm better than this girl, and I know I could have won. And I say, it's okay. Just so you know, you can trust someone who have been in this journey for a long time and seen all the colors, no?
Of course.
And now you can deal with that. That's why that's actually a loss, which can give her the tools to win in their future challenges. And I want to say something. You know how they say sometimes losing in life is good? I told you about that before. Yeah. It's better to learn and win. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Especially in fighting. It's better for you I won by I gas out, which you should not. And I won, now I cannot be in the same position. I have to work my cardio, my ass off to have the best cardio ever, you know? So sometimes when you lose, especially in fighting, and we have the chance to speak about that briefly before, when you lose, you lose. Think about especially, let's bring us as a we're two men, right? You're having your fight. And when you become a fighter, you get with that also a status, no? Sure. People around you, you're the warrior. You're the one. If something happen, you're the first one who step in front and protect. Yes. There's
a certain level of respect and honor and responsibility attached.
That's the identity of a warrior, a protector, no? A guy who fights for what he believes is right, no? So you have in your fight, and your fight, your family is coming, your girlfriend, your friends watching you, etc. And you perform, you try your best, but the guy's better than you. And he's on top of you, beating you up. I can guarantee you, now, that's very cruel and real, what I'm telling you now. That's the things which is not convenient for coaches to say or anybody in the industry. Sure. But the reality is, when people see you in a certain level, when you get beat up in front of them, it's hard to say it in this way, but I'm just going to say it the way it is. They lose a bit of respect of you. They don't see you with the same glasses, no? Right. And it's a big study on that. So they bring two fighters and they test their testosterone level before the fight, and it's very high. They're ready to go. And they test the winner and the loser after the fight. The winner have almost double of his testosterone. The loser, it's basically none. Wow. No? So it's a very intimate sport. And it's a sport which requires someone to be very strong on their spirit and their mind, you know? Because when you lose here, you don't lose a soccer game. You don't lose a basketball match.
It's when not a team loss. It's not a team loss.
It's a team loss, but let me tell it to you in a perfect... Try to imagine that. If me and you, we fight, if I beat you, the reality is... No, but it's okay. If we have a fight, right? Sure. And I'm the winner of the fight, the winner takes something away from you. Sure. So that's the truth. Okay? Imagine pieces, no? Yeah. And through this journey of fighting, what we say, you build confidence, strength. You build so much pieces in you. When someone beats you, he takes some of those pieces away from you.
What is that actual piece? If you were to define it into something that people could really understand better, especially fighters who are watching this? What is that piece?
That piece, most of the time, can be, think about like confidence, okay? Because you are there, maybe you won some fights, or maybe you didn't have any fights and you believe you can be the best. Someone beats you and maybe bad, he takes that confidence away from you. But in many cases, not many cases, less cases, also he takes away pieces of you which you are so happy he take them away from you. Your ego. No? Or think about a lot of fighters who they never lost and now they lose one fight and almost that lost is released because now they don't have a zero to protect, etc. Which
There's
in
a lot of
MMA is
pressure.
almost impossible.
There's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. So those pieces can be different things, you know. But that's why I tell always the fighters, you cannot build only yourself as the fighter. You want to build yourself to be something outside than that. You know, if that becomes all of you, you can see a lot of fighters when they finish their journey as a fighter, no, they are completely lost mentally. They don't know who they are anymore because they were the fighters, the guy who they're the best in the world, and now their body is not the same. They cannot be the best in the world, and they are stuck with only that identity, and they didn't fill their cup with other important things in life, which is family, relationship, friendship, passions, work. So they finish that journey and it's almost like a kamikaze journey. After that, they are nothing, they're empty. So that's what I want to tell to a lot of fighters out there. It's very important for them to continue, because when you go deep and deep into be a fighter, you get in that identity, but the point is you don't want to lose who you are, your essence, your true inner self, you know. So when I say always to my students, something I wish someone have teach me. So when I was competing, I was all in. I'm telling you, on a way which is unhealthy.
So how do you separate this?
I learned some tools.
Yeah, because you talk about how post-fighting, you know, fighters have lost their identity. How do you tread that fine line of still having your identity, still saying super focused, but still having other things just in case? Like, do you believe in that 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of?
No, I believe if you want to be the best in the world, your foot have to be
both feet,
all in.
Right.
So what I want to tell you is what I wish someone told me, and this can help any fighter around the world. The reality is this: you need to be objective and see the journey. Before you start it, you have to see the journey like a camera outside and see when it starts, when it's finished. That's why a lot of the best fighters right now in the world, they already have the finish line. You know, because before they start the journey, they plan the end, how they envision, they manifest how things they want to go, right? So my suggestion is this. The reality is, okay, this is the dark part, okay? When you practice fighting, especially at the beginning, when you practice without the competition, which is, in my opinion, the best way to do it, okay? You start getting confident, you're learning skills, you feel better, you feel good, not much damage, still some damage, but you get in the best part of the sport, right? But when you start like fighting, it becomes like part of your identity, okay? So you start like feeding. Think about it this way. If I practice something aggressive 3 times a day, right? 2 times a day, let's say, for 4 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour and a half, 1 hour, 3 hours, okay? For 3 hours a day, for 21 hours a week, I stimulate specific part of my brain, primitive, like violence, aggression, etc., right? Now, if you're not having the way to cool down on those things, this becomes part of your life outside, and the fighters in the world outside doesn't work.
You need balance.
You cannot bring that aggression, that type of feelings on the world outside, you're gonna end up destroying every relationship you have.
Of course.
A lot of fighters, they do that. They almost go on a point of complete self-sabotage where they become like the worst partner you can possibly imagine. They don't look after their friends. They don't feel the necessity to keep good people around them, because you almost have to fight, as we spoke about at the beginning, having something missing, suffering, right? So I learned a trick. What's the trick? I always say to my student this: whenever you come to training, this is your fighter's book. Think about it like you're doing an acting movie, right? And look, think about your favorite actor. One time you see him in a funny movie. The other movie, he's the bad guy. The third movie, he's a joke, like...
You're almost playing a character.
A character.
That's what you're saying.
So what I'm trying to teach them is this. When you come to the training, I don't want like you come and you come to the session, you're smiling, laughing, like you're not fighting. No, you're the fighter right now.
Yeah.
Now, you're not only training the skills, you're training the mindset you're going to bring in the fight.
Yes.
So I expect a full focus and funnel all your energy there. But once you finish, you shower, you close your book, and now you're your normal person of your everyday life. Yeah. If you do that, you're going to guarantee to get the best of what you can from fighting without damaging your inner self. Because anything in life, when you go to extreme, becomes damaging, right? So,
especially if you can't understand how what you're doing here, it won't translate here. I liken it to hats. I put on different hats in different situations. And sometimes I'll tell the person that I'm with, look, right now I'm going to put on my manager's hat. And then they understand, okay, what he's going to say to me right now is not based on emotion. It's pragmatic decision making. You have to take it for what it is and not take it to heart, those sort of things. So it's very similar to your book theory.
So I like to see that. I like to every fighter who goes in this journey to really be aware of that. Because you know what's the blessing about living in this modern MMA era? We have data now. Fighters before, they didn't have that. Who will have teach him that? Like, I was coming from a school like, you have to think about it this 24/7, and I did that. And trust me, I didn't like myself as a person, as a fighter at all. Like, my friends doesn't exist. My relationship no exist. I was just like fighting. So I had both foot in, which that's why I did well when I was competing. But also you need to understand, after you have the normal life, how you can live this life if you don't have around the people you love. How much those people can take on it, So it's very important to build that part of your inner self simultaneously when you build the fighters. In this way, they're going to grow together and they're going to balance themselves. Because sometimes in the normal life, you're going to need to use the fighter too, What about if someone attacks your family or your loved one? You have skills. You can manage under stress. You can see things clearly, And that's all the other positive things, which we all know how many positive things fighting brings.
Of course, there's so many aspects of fighting.
It's important to talk about the dark sides too,
Definitely.
Which, I always say it's a big difference between being a fighter and being a martial artist.
Yeah.
A fighter is temporary. A martial artist is a lifestyle, So you want, the reality is, I want to show my skills is better than your skills, no? And trust me, if we take the hate away and etc., I can show you that so much better.
You're right.
If you don't install any emotion on me, if you don't bring any
Ego,
vibration which I don't need to distract me from the mission,
This is a very insightful conversation. And this is what I want this podcast to be. I don't want it to be the fluff of us talking about accolades and success, because, without these insights, you probably won't get to those levels, right? And it's important that, and I loved that you said balance, because I speak with so many people from different walks of life who don't understand that concept of balance. And what's life with no one to share it with, right? So that's
what's winning if you don't have the people you love sitting on the table eating with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Winning doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You want to be there, laugh, eat, and smile with people who they love you, you know?
Yeah. So you seem to have this colorful and very enriched life in Italy. What made you want to leave all of that and come to Australia?
So it happened two major events. The number one was something which it took me a long time to find the answer. And you know how people say everything happened to your life, time heals everything? I think it's bullshit.
Right.
I think with time you get more pages in your book, and after you go back, you have a similar problem, you read, okay, I got through this, okay? But you never recover completely. Some trauma, they're gonna always be part of you. It's like the tissue, the scar is painful when it's a bad day, you know, when it's
you just learn to manage it better.
Yes.
You know?
So I lost one of my best friends. He killed himself by suicide, okay? And it was like something which have disturbed a lot my stability. My world flipped upside down, and I don't really know what's going on. You know, I
Were there
felt
any
like
signs? Were there any signs?
no,
Right.
not at all. I was the last person he called. And I was going to a competition actually with 4 of my students. I received a call from him at 5 a.m. And once we driving, I was already 2 hours away from 2 hours and a half from my city, and we have still 2 hours left. At the time, we didn't have money, go sleep at the hotel the day before, so we drive all the night. We make weight in the morning, they rest, and they fight in the evening. So the weigh-in was on the same day, amateur. So they're all sleeping. I answer, I'm driving the van, and he goes, "Hey, brother, where are you?" I say, "Hey, bro, I'm just on the way to Milan." He's like, "Can you come back?" And I'm like, "Brother, it's all good." Like, and he was a very colorful and happy person, insanely happy. He was 1 year older than me, but I always was the brother, you know, the older brother. So he goes, "Can you please come back?" And say, "Bro, it's all good. Like, I can't right now. You know, I have the boys fight." Oh, he said, "Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Good luck. Brother, you know I love you. And I'm like, "Brother, it's all good. Like, what's going on?" He goes like, I broke my hand at the time and was like making no sense. Like, he said to me, "You have to look after your hand. You are the father I never had. I love you, brother." I say, "Brother, listen, 2 days I'm back. We have a coffee." I was a bit weird out about
chills, bro. Why you saying this?
So I was confused, but he said to me, "Yeah, brother, all good. I just want to tell you I love you, brother." No, I say, "Okay." So I hang the phone, and I had this weird feeling. So I'm driving, and I felt like my soul was pulled back. Like I felt like almost like on a point when actually I step a bit on the brakes, and some of the guys wake up because I sort of like felt like I need to stop. No, and I'm like, no, we have a mission. The mission comes before everything. We here 4 guys carrying weight. We have to go. We have to. And I'm like driving. I'm like, listen, it's okay, because you need to understand. I was, as I explained you previously, I was a very important figure in my community. So that phone now is nothing. I have 500,000 followers. Before I had no Instagram, and I had my phone could not stop ringing because I was solving everybody problems. That was like when you have a lot of students and a lot of problematic ones. I'm always like solving problem. And I be honest with you,
the mentor, the therapist, the father, all of those roles.
And I not only that, but I really became like a figure also like I had a lot of people with businesses. They needed help. I get them, some of the boys to work there. I tell them they're my fighters. They give them shifts so they can train. So I had all this ecosystem around me, which made it everything possible. Anyway, so we're driving, and after at 7 o'clock, so we have the weigh-in at 8 o'clock. We're at 7 o'clock. We're almost there. I receive a call, no, and all my students are awake in the car, etc. And I'm answering the call, and I'm like, "Hello," and was Matt's mom, no? He said, "Renato, Matt killed himself," and I'm holding the phone, and I felt like something hit me, and I felt like I was stuck. I felt like I couldn't move, and I'm like having these 4 guys getting ready for a fight, and I immediately say to them, like I was dead. Like I felt like I got hit so hard where my soul left my body. I wasn't there, and I was like a zombie. The first things I did is say, "Hey guys, these fights are very important. We have to qualify for the national team," and I had these rules. I was very strict as a coach back then, so much more than now, because I was very problematic guys. So I said to them, "All of you, give me the phones. No phones allowed, no." And I knew it because all this trauma now gives you some sort of understanding of what happened next, you know. So I took the phones away because I didn't want some of them receive a message her. So I say, "Now everybody phones." Say, "Yeah, coach, okay." So I get the phone and I message one of the oldest boy and said, "Listen, this is what happened. A lot of's gonna happen right now. I don't need them to get distracted, and this is very important." And also, I needed to be there. So I'm like almost telling them what to do so I can keep to be on the mission, which probably have given me a bit more oxygen somehow, you know. So they wait in 8 o'clock. We're waiting all the way until the evening. I tell you, I promise you, was the longest day of my life. I could not wait those fights to finish. I could not wait to just like let the pain go and nothing. I was ice cold. I didn't close my eyes. I was like a soldier. No, I have a mission, and we have to do that.
Did anyone around you know what's happened?
Everybody, just the 3 fighters. No, I was the only coach, and they didn't know nothing. So the 4 fighters, 3 of them end up winning, 1 losing, and was so happiness, etc. So I call them and I say, "Okay, before you hear it from anybody else, that's what happened." And Matt was very important for our community. He was one of the oldest boys. No, he was older than me, and he was there building the gym from the beginning. Still is all the video online. I always remind him, and I'm always bringing him in any success I do in life with me. But after that, the darkness came. No, I blamed myself a lot at the beginning, and now I believe like 100% if I came back, if I couldn't have come back in time, but I feel like if I had given him hope of me coming back, I might have changed things. I think, you know, especially when I believed like we have a mission, we're gonna be the best, and we're all important, and you lose someone very close to you, you don't recover from that. You know, I got stuck. And I had at the same time my daughter was born, and she was like a baby, and now we had to organize the funeral. But the problem is like in Italy, and if someone commits suicide, you have to wait a bit longer. Has to be some religious things, because they say usually a person who kill himself, they don't deserve to get buried, you know, because they give up on life, you know. But things are more modern now and change, etc. Already there. So I looked after everything. because I was very successful at the time, and all the community, and I was going through, already before what happened to him, I was going through personal things which didn't get me in a good place, no? And I remember I carried my friend and I put him under the ground, and I didn't cry once. I could not cry because everybody who looking at me, they're looking if the leader is gonna blinch, you know, if he's gonna put one knee down. And spiritually I was already on the ground, but I show composure, and I show the mask, what people needed to see. You know, I was just a zombie walking around, and I remember these things. You know, I remember after the funeral we went to this big coffee place, and I did a lot for the funeral. I helped financially and everything, which you can do, which have no value than having your friends next to you, etc. So we are to the cafe, my daughter is just born, and I'm looking at, I'll be honest with you, I don't feel nothing. I don't feel nothing around. I feel like I'm completely empty. I have nothing inside me. So I'm sitting in this corner, and because that's my role, so everybody's coming talking to me, you know. They come and talk to me, they ask me things, his family comes, thanks me, ask me for things, people coming, what we gonna do. And I remember at some point I was so overwhelmed, and everybody was telling me, asking me things, and I'm like, yes, and I'm on this table, right? And I remember my ears start like, I feel like beep in my ear, and I'm like looking up, and I'm about to pass out. I'm about like, I'm going down now. I'm gonna pass out. There's no way I can deal with all of that. And I'm looking at my daughter, and I'm like, it's so happiness coming with a child is born, but it's also responsibility and stress, you know. Especially I wasn't in the best place at the time to deal with that, and now I have my friends passed away. So I'm looking up, and I see fog. I can see like I'm about to pass out. There's no way, no. And for a second, my ears are beeping, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking, everything's low, and I see all my people, everybody, I see them so lost, so sad. I see them, they not even know where they're looking, because they just reflecting who I am, you know. And I remember I'm about to go. That's it. I cannot stand. If I stand, I'm down, no. And when I look at my people, and I look at them, and I'm the leader of these guys, you know, I stood up, brother. I hit the table with my both fists. I almost broke the table, and I was back in 1 second. I was calling everybody around the table and said, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do the Italian championship. We're gonna win for him. We're gonna do that. We're gonna go there. We're gonna do this. I was back. No, I think trauma. You know, these days everybody say to you, you have to speak about your trauma, etc. And I think his stages and his density of trauma, the intensity of trauma. I believe trauma, you can speak to them when you have deal with them. I believe sometimes the best way to deal with trauma is speak less possible about them, because you keep them alive. You understand? Yeah. So sometimes, you know, when a guy is like, you know, I had like a bad life, my life was, and you're keeping that life alive on you. Talking, you meet a new person, a girl, and you're like, you know, my life, I've been there. You know, when I met someone in my life, you know, I end up meeting few people, friends, etc. Or even if I end up to meet a girl, and she asks me, tell me about your life. I'm like, seeing a pictures moving like a film in my head, and see this and see the jail and the friend lost and what I've been through and the crazy life. I know what I reply. Oh, my life is amazing. Because I want my life to be amazing. Yeah. I don't let my past. Remember what we spoke about before?
You're also talking about the present.
Exactly.
You're in the present with them.
That's it. You know? So why is like what a person goes through, and is that difference between a man and a woman. It is differences. What I mean with that, I believe a woman is so much more than a man, not less, you know? And I believe as men, we have to learn to deal and okay, you know, these days, every problem has a pill, right? You feel depression, pills. You feel anxiety, pills. The reality is, like, I could have not ever created what I've created now if I didn't go through that emotions and felt like hell was there, and I have to move something and create something. But if every time you have a problem, you take a pill or a drug or whatever, you didn't solve nothing. You didn't go through the natural journey of life of like being through lows to build yourself and create something. Look at some artists. They've created the most beautiful music, painting, whenever coming from deep struggles and emotion or deep happiness, you know?
Yeah.
So if you put pills on that and you try to put like a filter, no, to cheat on your progress.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying like people who go through really important things and they cannot really deal with their life. That's where the community is very important, and the support is very important.
For some people, and I can only speak from my experience, with depression, for example, for some people, antidepressants really help them because they experience the lowest forms of low, and they've got a family and a wife, and for them, it's important to get to some level of stability in order for them to just function as humans.
Yes.
I also want to talk about the trauma too. I do believe it's important to be able to share your experiences with others, not in a way to help them understand you more, but also to allow them to open up so that they can share. And sometimes in that experience, you can learn better ways to deal with your trauma. I've got a lot of trauma from my life, and I've spoken with, very few people, can count on one hand. And from those experiences, I've gained better ways on dealing with my trauma. But I understand being in the position that you're in, having that responsibility of showing your team, your people, these people who look up to you, that there is hope.
Yes.
There's hope, and that you have now a new drive for your friend to keep his life and his memory and have it live on as well too. I can see that duality. Man, that's hard for anybody to understand. Most people only have to deal with themselves. You're dealing with like 120 other people. Yeah. That's a huge responsibility, man. Like you say, you're the admiral. That's an admirable position to be in, but it's not for everybody.
I believe in this. I believe whenever you go through hard times, I'm gonna say this how I feel it. You know how you're going through hard time and you have anxiety, you feel like overwhelmed, etc., and you cannot live your life peacefully, and people goes like to some yoga retreat with someone who smokes weed like 24/7 and tell them like, be happy, be positive. I want to learn to deal with those emotions from people who have been through that emotion and they came out. I want someone to teach me how to deal with pressure. Like I want to go to an MMA coach and ask him, hey, how I deal with pressure? Or a fighter who have competed in front of like 25,000 people, no? Yeah. Because as human, the first way we learn is just by osmosis, like what's called, no? Yeah. Just by staying next to someone strong, you automatically become stronger. You see them.
Because that iron sharpens iron, right?
Exactly. So for me, it's very important to people to understand out there, if they are struggling with something, talk to the people who have, like Elon Musk say in an interview and say like, when I hire someone, I'm gonna ask him how he have solved his hardest problem and how he did it. Yes. Because one person who have solved the problem, he knows all the pathway to get to the solution, right? Yes. So that's the people you have to talk to. What I'm saying, like, don't talk to yourself. Don't try to talk to people who, how, like someone comes to you and say, and you now, you tell them everything. No, you have to be mindful. So that's why there are professionals out there who really can help you to deal with that problem. Before you try any pills, before you try to circle yourself, put yourself around people who have been through hard times and they came out on top, or they came out just. I tell you one thing which I wanted to say before. I'm very surprised of the skills I have required right now. Now I live very big things, It's very hard to prepare someone to fight, and you almost like a general, you have their life in your hands, and sometimes they're gonna get hurt,
literally.
So I have to deal with very stressful things, and this is like one of them, but other responsibility, massive, And I don't get stressed anymore. And I was literally experiencing a few days ago something very big, very, very big, which most of the people were like tremble. And one of my best friends said to me, like, I'm shocked how calm you are. And I'm like, how am I gonna solve the problem if I'm not? How am I gonna be able to perform and solve the problem in the best way if I'm losing control of my emotion? For me, happens the opposite now. Whenever I have a problem, I check my smartwatch, my heartbeat slows down.
Wow.
And I'm like looking to way to solve the problem. Now in life, when a problem comes, I'm always grateful. I'm like, good, exciting.
A challenge.
It's a challenge, But every person needs to understand the volume of the problem they can deal with. If you find a problem which is too much bigger than you, you're not gonna find growth, you're gonna find damage. So right now, for having 33 years old, I immigrated from war. I went to live in Slovenia. My parents from Slovenia, they moved to Italy. We started again with nothing again. Now I'm in Australia. I've been in a federal prison. I lost my friends. I lost people I love. I lost love. I lost everything a man can possibly think about it, And I've been true to myself, which that's what have got me to this stage right now when fighting is easy. Fighting is not hard. And anything in life you want to become great, you have to make it easier, not harder.
Sure.
How you can solve a harder problem making it harder? You want to find the pathway for a solution in the easiest way.
Simplicity is the key, right?
So that's what I believe a lot of fighters need to understand. Same as they don't want only to win a fight, they want to win a peaceful life. They want to have a not peaceful life, because like why so many people need war, right? They need because they have war inside. They need to find that you can find peace, or even chaos need a pathway, even the biggest chaos you can think about, it needs some pathways.
What's that saying? For there to be peace, there has to be war.
Has to, it's a cycle.
Crazy. But it's a war within, right? That
yes.
You have to battle.
Doesn't have to be always violence,
Sure.
It's like a challenge with your inner self. And also, if you want to succeed in life, you cannot every successful person success doesn't come from stability. You have to create an instability. Now that's where it's tricky. That's where a lot of people have to hear that out there. So that's where you cannot confuse between create safe instability to grow. For example, I want to get fit, right? And I want my mindset to be, so I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and going to run. So you create some clearly psychological instability in your mind to do something so permits you to grow, right? But where it's tricky and where a lot of people can hear it is when it becomes sabotage. You don't want to create instability. You know what? I want to succeed. So let me cut all the people I love so I can succeed. That doesn't work like that.
Right.
You need to choose you can make yourself, and that's where like a lot of people who come from wealth, right? They had advantage. That's the truth. Like even if you are a fighter right now, if you come from a family with money, etc., you're gonna access some better training. You're gonna access better physio, doctors. A lot of fighters, they never make it because they injure themselves, etc. The Mike Tyson story is 1 in a million. Like rarely, very rarely, statistically now, you have a successful fighter who comes from a very rough upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, very hard. Doesn't exist anymore almost, right? So you can see, man, like I come from nothing, and I envy people who have grew up with everything. I saw them. Look them. They grew up, they're good looking, their back is straight, they look handsome, they are like, man, they're good looking people, no? And just go in Double Bay, you know, have a walk there. And like, man, I've been through war since I'm a kid. I was like in war, like, I
Your
don't.
story is enviable. Your story just makes you a better human being.
I know, but like if I have to choose, no, for example, I
In
have a lot of,
hindsight, but it's made
I
you
know,
who
and
you
I'm
are.
very grateful.
And so are many people. Everyone in your stratosphere are grateful that you have gone through those hardships to get to this place where you now can give so much hope to others as well.
Yeah,
It's a heavy burden
I
to
just
bear.
I just
get that.
believe, like, you know, because let's be honest, right? It's all about percentage, and is a lot things you need to bring them mathematically out there, right? A lot of people are gonna say like, what this guy know? You know, he's coming from a wealthy situation. Yeah, but of course you say that. How many wealthy guys are out there? A small percentage, right? So all the humans' mentality is a lot of envy. When someone is better than you, you're gonna always think like, fuck him, like he had an easy life. You know, the reality is. You have a chance every day to elevate yourself. You know that saying when they say like, if I give you $10 million, you're going to get them. If I give you $10 million, you're going to get them, right?
Right.
It's only one catch. You don't wake up tomorrow. You still going to take them?
That's an interesting question. I'm at peace with death, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So if I could enjoy
That's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be, man.
But,
I'm surrounded by death and have been for many years. So I've become, I want to say, calm about it and accepting. Yeah, which is a weird place to be, but it's inevitable.
It's inevitable, yes. But let's make it easier for you. So if someone comes to you, you know, you have like, you are still life, you're not dead, right? So if you ever choose, someone comes to you and say, I give you 10 millions, but it's only one catch, you don't wake up tomorrow.
Right.
Like 90% of the people, they're going to say, what? Like, what am I going to do to 10 millions?
How do you spend 10 million in one day?
If I don't wake up tomorrow?
Right.
So this means every time you wake up, every day, your day have more value than 10 millions. So you should wake up with that mindset. You should wake up tomorrow and say like, I'm 10 millions richer now.
1000%.
You know?
I have a friend of mine, and that's why your story resonates with me. And I'll make a very long story short. I also have a friend of mine who I found dead in his apartment, but not from suicide. He had strokes and a heart attack. But when they moved the body, they were able to find a pulse, and he went into ICU. He's now a vegetable, unfortunately, in palliative care, and he was as healthy as you and I, and he was literally, I want to say, closer to me than my brothers. Anyway, long story short, I visit him every week in palliative care, and he's a reminder that if I wake up every morning alive, that's the biggest win
You're
of the
winning.
day. That's the biggest win of the day.
Every day you have a chance to make a difference, you know, every day. Every day you want to pick your battles and you want to get better on what you were yesterday, you know. You cannot pick battle which you cannot hold in your hands. They're too big for you. You have to pick the battles they're meaningful. And we have we think we have a lot of time. We don't have much time.
No time, bro.
And we have limited energy. So that's why sometimes as a coach, one thing is hard is like choose who really give them the important part of your energy, you know? Because at the end of the day, I choose a job which is being an educator, you know. So that's my first purpose. And the money, the million, the success, I have won already. I've done all. I travel all around the world. People around the world, they pay me to teach them what I love. Man, that's I won. I won already. You know.
That's incredible.
I tell you this. I mean, I'm very grateful for everything I've been through, and I'm very happy where I am at now. And well, you know what makes me more happy is I just know that's the beginning. I know I have done most of the things I've achieved in my head, but I'm just excited of like you can walk now out there, you can meet some incredible people with their story, with that energy, and their colors can make your painting better. You know, they can influence the way you're painting your painting of life, you know?
Of course, yeah.
So that's why I know you've been through a bit. I know you have your reason to feel like that, but sometimes you can have like your gray painting now, and you walk down the road and someone just splashes some color, and here you start painting again.
That's
you know,
a great analogy, man.
that's what you have to feel like. You know,
You've painted that in the gym, and I see it when I'm there. Even just as an outsider looking in, I can see all of the colors that you spray on those red walls, and the people who are a part of it, how it literally lights up their lives. And I wanted to ask you, I've got so many questions I wanted to ask, and I love where this conversation has gone, because I feel like it's super important that we talk about these things, and it doesn't just translate for fighters only. Like everything you've spoken about
is life.
It's life advice, and it's very important, especially from somebody like you say who has dealt with the fire, who's been in the wars, who's dealt with the trauma. These are the people who have the best advice to give. And I can see in the gym, and one of the reasons why I chose your gym was the culture that you have cultivated in that gym. How important for you, and I would imagine this is almost like your Italian family 2.0, right? How important is that for you as a coach, as the admirable, to provide that kind of environment in a gym?
Look, it's the environment is the gym, you know, like, so I believe that. I believe in it's very important as a general to make decision. That's why, like, being a general sucks. Because any decision you're gonna make is gonna always be, if you try your best, you don't have to regret it, but it's going to be always someone who is not happy.
You can't please everyone.
You cannot. So what I try to do, like people knows that. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how good you are, how famous, popular, or anything, and you know that. There's many examples. If you come in the gym and you don't respect the ethics and the moral of the gym, I don't care what's your background and where you're coming from, but has to be respect, you know?
Yes.
So I don't care who's coming in the gym. If they don't respect the environment, that has to go, you know? So I've been cutting the grass for a bit, you know?
I see in the WhatsApp thread.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Yes, I've been doing that because I believe once you lose the atmosphere and the culture in the gym, I don't want to come to a gym where I feel uncomfortable me to be there.
Yeah.
Because people egos are too big. Because look, don't get me wrong, it's very important to balance things, and you need also to be you need knowledge. Knowledge is very important as a coach. You need to understand young fighters, they're going through phases, hormones, and all of those things. So I'm very open-minded, and I'm always ready to listen and to learn. That's why I believe I'm doing good as a coach. It's because...
Sorry, that camera died. That's it. I've got the wide.
Okay.
I've got the wide. And I've got your close-up.
You need to change?
No. I think the battery just died.
Okay.
That's fine.
So,
shit happens.
Yeah, that's it. You sure you don't need a...
Bro, this conversation is more important than a camera.
So I believe it's very important for you to have knowledge as a coach. That's why so many coaches are doing the mistakes of just being like on the highest level. Every coach is good technically. Like when people say, "Oh, this coach doesn't know," I believe like everybody who make it to a high level, if they came there, this means they have certain skills. They know what they're doing, right? But a lot of coaches, a big percentage, they lack on a human level. They don't understand people. They don't know how people deal with certain situation mentally or transit in life. I didn't know that. I need to experience through my student that tens of thousands, hundreds of times to get there to understand. Oh, let me recognize what this guy is going through because I had already the data of 50 guys before him, right? So it's a very hard job. And you know what's even harder sometimes is, as a coach, you are there for a very important and meaningful moment of a fighter's life, you know, because they come in usually when it's something missing, as we discussed, right? But you know what's the saddest part is just when you already see and it's coming in the time for them to go, right? And you as a good father, you have to let them go. You have to make sure they have if they achieve through this journey and towards you what they were looking for, if you keep them in that loop, you're not doing the good for them, you know? So I believe that's sometimes what is the hardest part is you're sort of stuck in that circle. You are there helping them to get better, bam, and someone goes, and now a new guy comes in, and he doesn't have nothing, and you start again. It's a very tough job emotionally because also as a leader, you are very attached to them. But I don't show it much in the gym because
you don't want to play favorites either too, right?
You can't, you know. And also you don't want to, like when a coach is emotional and the worst things can happen to you, you go to a fight and a coach is there like insulting, screaming and acting like some stupid guy, and this fight is already stressed enough, and if the leader is doing that, he's gonna perform poorly, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
So I try always to avoid the problem because let's be honest, like sometimes I feel fighting it's a bit restrictive towards me because sometimes you end up like being in sort of contest if you don't go to the highest level. When you're like sitting with some people and you're like, what the fuck I'm doing there? Like their brain is like I don't know.
Everywhere else but where it needs to be.
Very small, you know. So I'm like thinking about the universe, the planets, and all of that, and this guy's like, "Hey, mate," like, and I'm like, "Okay," you know.
They've been hit around the head too many times.
You know, sometimes you have to understand and you have to learn to talk the language of the people you have around you. You know, so they're able to understand you. But also sometimes you're like, man, like I want to be stimulated too. But that's the beauty about the sport right now. It's grown so much. And now athletes are coming into the sport. Kids are coming into the sport which are athletes. They want to be an MMA champion. Before you didn't have that. Before you had like the tough guy coming in. Now, the best fighter you have around, man, is like the guy who plays video game, music, who now is this German fighter who does modeling on the sides, and now he's fighting. So you have like all these different character coming into the sport, which are athletes and they just love the sport. They're not like the tough guy of the block who wants to be a world champion, you know?
Of course.
So right now it's more, before was so much tougher, to be honest with you, to be stimulated. But now, towards my student, me traveling around the world, hearing talk, like I have so much amazing coaches. One thing I want to say, you know, this sport is very tribal, and a lot of people, they have to look for an enemy. You know, for example, they're gonna, oh, this guy is a shit coach. This guy, I believe this, and I'm gonna say something which is not very popular. I believe 90% of the coaches are good people,
right?
Because how you can start this stuff like going, carrying weight, running, losing your family time with your daughter, with your partner, with your friends, to go there, coach them, and these guys maybe leave you after 1 fight, 2 fight. Coach, you know, I'm finishing my study, I'm going back, blah, blah, blah. So I believe 80-90% of coaches, they want their best, you know?
Of course.
But it's a very tribal sport, and hate is what's more immediate. It's easy hate. You hate someone, I don't like this guy, you know, like it's very easy.
Is it actual hate in the fight industry where you've got, I mean, I know there's obviously the games people
Hate
play.
is simple. So yeah, it is. I tell you why. Because if I need to fight you, what's the first, I hate this guy. I don't like the way he walks. I don't want to, like you try to find something you don't like to make it easier for you to find
But that's not necessary, is it?
that's only necessary on the lowest level.
Right.
You see someone like Topuria, man, he's beating everybody.
Yeah.
Every fighters he fought, he respects them fully. The guy shakes their hands, wins, move forward. That's sadly on the lowest level. Until you get out of the lowest regional scene where everybody's tried something to hate. And the point is like, if you are looking to hate someone on the regional scene because he's doing good, or maybe you don't appreciate with his idea stuff, man, you're never gonna be the best in the world. It's some tough people around the world to beat, you know what I mean? If you're stuck on like my neighbor garden is more greener than mine, man, maybe ask him which product he's using to make it you know, then like
They're the people that you can learn so much from.
that's it.
Can I
you
just
know?
stop for 1 second? Because
Yes.
I want to put a battery in that camera.
Yeah, put up.
Yeah, one moment.
Let's
We just lost that one, but we gained this one back, which is great. So that's fine.
It's us.
Shit happens, man.
The show must go on.
The show must go is exactly it, man. You know what it's like? This is almost like picture whenever a camera dies or something happens, it's almost like a little setback in the game plan while you're fighting. That's what do? Do you adjust and then keep going, or do you let it get you down? You let it
Exactly.
destroy you, and
And you know, like the most the perfection comes from actually the imperfection, you know?
100%.
Like you if like it's like fighting. Sometimes, you know, I love the mindset of people which come to fighting. Sometimes you have those very mathematic people coming into the fighting, right? I have one student, Tom is his name. He's very about everything perfect, right? And everything, how he moves, like geometry, like you can see he's almost like a bit stiff because he's so perfectionist.
Sure.
And I told him like the perfection about fighting is you find balance in the movement, you know. You find peace in the chaos. That's what's fighting about. You should be. It's like, imagine like an energy coming your way and you waving with that energy, you know. That's where you see some amazing fights. When you watch that fight, Holloway versus Justin Gaethje, and he points in the middle,
What a fight.
and and like it's just like almost like a song, a beautiful song playing, you know. So the perfection in fighting is in the imperfection, you know. And that's the beautiful thing. So you can have a different type of body. You can be tall, you can be short, you can be big, and you can adapt a style which is suitable for you and win, you know.
Yeah, 100. Bro, it's all about that. Give me 1 second. I think I've got a solution.
Hey, you saw that.
Hey.
That's it.
Let's see.
Don't forget where is the other one left.
Yeah, I know. I should hit him up for brand sponsorship. Okay, we are back. We're back. For those of you watching, we've just lost some cameras and memory cards, but we're not gonna let
We
that
don't
stop.
quit.
We're gonna
We
war.
don't quit.
We're gonna war, brother.
We are here to win.
I've got some questions that I'm dying to ask you.
Let's go.
So these ones here. Okay, how do you balance pushing a fighter to their limits without breaking them?
Pushing their limits. So first of all, as a coach, it's very important to understand your fighter. You need to know him, right? So first of all, pushing him without breaking, you know. Fighters are very smart people. Like actually people don't understand, to be in this industry you have to be very smart and street smart and everything, you know.
Sure.
So sometimes you're gonna find fighters which they are like, I'm exhausted, etc. Just an excuse to not be pushed more. So I believe it's all about understanding who is in front of you. That's why it's important the knowledge of people, right? So a lot of fighters, they have probably probably on the highest level, the problem you're gonna face as a coach is not tell a fighter where to pushing him, but when to stop.
Right.
So on the highest level, fighters are training all very, very hard. So actually, as a coach, it's easier for you to find someone who you have to tell him, hey, relax, than actually, hey, go harder, right? But I believe where you push fighters until they break is when you want to test their mindset. Overtraining is wrong, right? It's something which is not positive. But far away from competitions, I do try to push someone to break them mentally, to see not where their body is, but their spirit. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But does that also show you it sets a whole new boundary now?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then you're pushing their full potential.
Yes. I believe a lot of athletes, them are not capable to understand yet how much power they have in there, how much hard they can push, Because, but I say to you honestly, the reality is, as a coach on the highest level, you actually have to be more careful on telling people, hey, you're pushing too hard, let's slow down, than actually push harder. Yeah, that's the truth.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So when people think about MMA, and they think about what they see of MMA, and I know some of the conversations that I have with people whenever I tell them, yeah, I love MMA, I've dabbled in training in it as well too, and blah, blah, blah. The first instinct is, oh, it's so brutal. But I'm quick to educate them that some of the smartest people I know are training in MMA, and to actually perform MMA, all of the disciplines involved, it requires you to be quite cerebral. And like they say, it's like a chess game. You don't play a chess game if you're a thug. How do you what are some of the misconceptions that you've found with MMA with most people?
Well, it's like I've changed it a lot, to be honest. Like, since the sport is mainstream, as I say at the beginning of the podcast, is more and more people coming into the sport who they're athletes, and they're starting with already like the kids going to school, having supportive parents who they want them to succeed in the sport. I feel like violence is always something which impact people, right? So it's understandable for a parent or someone close to you, like, if they cannot push you to not do it, they're gonna say like, hey, look, it's very aggressive, it's violent, you're gonna get damaged, So they surrounding society have changed in their opinion into the sport, because now it's a really sport. It's recognized in every country. Before MMA was illegal. I think... do
you think the UFC have made that possible?
Yes. UFC is like the major and the biggest promotion in the world. But what I believe have made it more possible is actually what they're doing on the IMAF level, so on the amateur level.
Right.
So the idea of MMA in the amateur level is as an Olympic sport. And actually you see when you go to an amateur show like a world championship, European championship, etc., it's all very regulated. The rule is a bit more light. For example, you don't have knee to the head, elbow, etc. So I think that the role of IMAF and the amateur MMA is very important to make like the global fan, who they're not like those hardcore fan, but they're like the casual.
Sure.
Fall in love with this person. Oh, that's beautiful. So my son is competing in MMA. Oh, really? Oh, you showed in the video. One is wearing red, one is wearing blue, and it's so much more safe, etc. Still like a combat sport and very dangerous. But I believe what's very important is to just educate, people like with projects. I believe what could help a lot to change the opinion of MMA is doing more like social project, maybe with the community. One thing I wanted to do, and it's still in place. I was talking to Ray, but we want to do something with the federation, some MMA project with the Aboriginal community.
Sure.
Something to show, a different pathway.
Because
an
you're helping,
opportunity.
like you said in Italy, you helped so many people who have, led pretty hard lives
Yeah.
come out and have hope. So
Yeah.
that definitely would translate.
Yes.
And change the perception of it being a brutal sport in the sense that we all love brutality. Like it's one of those things where you want to say it's brutal, but in the back of your mind, you love it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But you just don't want to be seen as loving it.
In the human nature, like you have to deal. Sadly, you can come from a beautiful family. You as a mom and dad, you have giving the best opportunity to your kids. Your kids one day is gonna be at school, and sadly, it's gonna happen to everybody. Another kid's gonna look at him and is gonna say, "Why are you looking at me?" No. And now he's going to need to deal with all another level of, which we don't want that in the society. But the point is, it's going to be always part of that. And, it's better for us to teach the young generation to be stronger in their spirit and also know how to protect themselves and people around them.
Yeah.
They leave them weak, and not allow them to understand. Like, for example, do you notice something? If you talk to some of the best fighters and people who are deep in the game, they're all very calm people. Do you realize that?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they have to deal with violence, and they seen it with that doesn't the person who's able to control those situations are the most calm one,
Yes.
because
I've got a story. I remember being in the Cross one night and I watched Rampage Jackson and Michael Bisping. They were drunk on the street walking to one of the clubs I was playing at. Now, as they're walking...
It's a cool, I didn't know that.
Crazy. As they're walking, they were with a couple of girls, there was all these men surrounding them trying to pick a fight. Not applauding them and, being fans. They were trying to pick a fight with them.
Yeah.
And these guys who could literally destroy all of them just laughed and they just let it go. And I'm talking like these guys were relentless at trying to push buttons.
And that's sadly what's happening a lot of time. That's why as a fighter, even myself, like I like to go to places. How many times you invite me to some of your gigs and I'm always, I'm going to come, etc. I don't go out. If I go out, I go for a nice dinner or in places because sadly, the problem of someone who, like if you fight, you can control yourself and you are under control of any sort of situation. But are the people around you who, especially weakest men, who maybe they see you as a threat and they want to prove themselves, especially if you have a bit of popularity.
Yeah.
They know you have so much more to lose, and that's why they probably provocate them. Hopefully, they react on that, and they punch them, and they maybe sue them too and get some money from
also,
them.
too, if you're a coach in MMA and you were to have an altercation with somebody outside, that's going to, bode really badly for you in court
100%.
as well, too. Like,
100%.
Are your hands insured?
That's why, hopefully. That's why it's important for you to have the knowledge and understand to not be in sort of situation. No,
Don't put yourself in that.
They say if you go out at 2-3 a.m. it's not much good to find out. You know what I'm saying? So if you go in specific places, like in Sydney, you can go to places where it's like classy, with certain level of people, or you can, if you want to have a bad day, you can pick places when you're gonna have a bad day.
Of course,
because at the end of the day, it's all about intelligence and pick and choose to not be in certain contest.
100%. I want to talk about some of the inner workings of the fight industry, just quickly, if we can, and fighter pay and what you feel fighters deserve from promotions with regards. And when I spoke to Cass and Finey about it, we talked about how female fighters are paid very differently to male fighters and whatnot. How do you feel about these promotions here in Australia in particular and how they remunerate the fighters?
Look, the point is the promotion in Australia, they pay very, very poorly. but all local promotion in each country until you don't make it to a good level. So I actually had so much things I wrote about that in my journals, etc. I believe should be a minimum wage page for a fighter.
Okay. Wow.
I think until they make it to a biggest promotion, there should be something which regulates like a minimum pay.
As a professional.
Right? As a professional.
Right.
On the other hand, I believe should be a sort of like syndicate for fighters.
Right.
And I believe should be something like
a union?
Union,
Okay.
yes. And
there isn't? There's
no,
not a... Wow.
There's not. And I believe could have been done so many interesting things where like, in the union, all the promotions, they have to pay some percentage of their global profit. And now, think about it like a fighter like Ben Askren who had like some problem now, and he could have an insurance, something for fighters, like, I don't know, some sort of compensation, you know?
Of course, yeah, no, 100%.
Because, like, to be honest with you, anybody who does this sport, they really put their life online and they have so many problems at the end. It's like,
sure.
How you can choose an insurance for fighters? Like, as insurance, you're going to fail, you know?
Yeah,
so it has to
tough.
be some better system, you know, for someone to think about their life after fighting. I believe the pay for fighter is not good. And I believe that's why a union of fighters, coaches, teams, etc. will help a lot. You know, think about it like if globally everybody who does the sport pay a membership annually fee to a union, and those funds that really can start changing the sport, etc. It will be interesting to see all of that moving up. Not only the views and the popularity of the sport, but also like fighters getting paid more. Yeah,
it's interesting when you say that, because the fighters are not only trying to win for themselves, but they're providing entertainment for people. And for the most part, a lot of people aren't paying for that entertainment, but they're being entertained. So for them to contribute to this entertainment is super important. And I would imagine like a lot of fighters probably fail because of the financial situations.
Many champions, they never became champions because of the financial situation.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's the reality. That's why I tell you, like, it's like more and more, and like it's an expensive sport because camps, diet, percentage to the manager, percentage to the coach, etc. It's like a very, very hard business, you know.
Of course,
I was talking to the guy at the cafe before. Remember when he said like, fuck, these fighters is hard, you know.
So many layers that people
That's
don't
why for
really
me
understand.
as a coach, one thing I do, using, thank God I have this popularity, etc., to really boost the pay of my athlete much as I can up, because I want them to make as much as possible. But it's I believe something has to be some global movements to move things up, because if not,
you can't just be the one person doing it.
You can't be. It needs like a big group of people who count in the industry to think in the same way, you know?
Of course. So just as an offshoot to that, and you spoke about weight cutting too, do you feel like things need to change with regards to weight cuts?
Yeah, I wish they do change. I believe weighting, it became an event for themselves, you know, seeing if people gonna make weight, showing up on the scale. Of course, after the official weigh-in is after the official scales, but almost the day before becomes an event himself. I remember for Conor and Khabib fight, they actually sold out the tickets for the weigh-in also. So they made like good money just for that. So I believe things has to change. Yeah.
What would you change about weight cuts?
So what I would do is like someone to weigh in will be good on the same day, but I think media-wise, etc., it won't benefit. Or another things you can do is to get the fighter to step on the scale just before they walk into the cage, make like sort of a weight allowance of how much they can go up. But the problem is like,
What weight allowance would that be? Like,
so for example, you can go percentages. For example, like if you weighed in at 61 kilogram, you cannot be more than the division above, which is 66.
Yeah, right.
If not, like, why you didn't fight 66, you know?
Sure.
So if you fight, if you weighed in 67, but the point is, that's the human nature. When you even try to get rules, they're going to always find a way to... So what are you going to end up doing? You're going to end up probably damaging athletes even more. Why? Because I already know how the fighters' minds work, you know? So they're gonna end up cutting weight to make 61, right? And they're gonna end up not hydrate themselves properly and etc. to stay underneath 66. So they're gonna end up getting actually more damage. So I don't know, has to be definitely... I know some promotion have the hydration test to check their urine, but also there is tricks. You can drink more and cut weight more and drink just before you go to pee, so your urine looks like hydrate. So man,
that's a lot of stress for a fighter.
I know.
That's going just massive. About to go into the ring and perform.
It's massive. Yeah. So I believe same as they do the problem is like, more you want to make that, more money it's going to cost to the promotion. Yeah. So it's all about money at the end of the day.
And they'll ultimately make other people pay for that.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the money that should go to the fighters and the coaches as well too.
It's a tricky one. Definitely I'm looking forward in the next couple of years to see, because a lot of doctors and experts now into weight cutting, which wasn't before.
Right.
And it's so much more data coming, etc. What I really cannot see is like kids cutting weight, man. Like it's when you see at the World Championship.
How young is too young to get your child into mixed martial arts?
Look, now, like I will get them at 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5 years old.
Because until 18, they don't have edge strikes. So they basically don't getting any brain damage, you know. I'm talking about like on the IMAF level. So it's basically jiu-jitsu with punch in the body and kicks, you know, to the body.
Yeah.
So, or to the legs. I believe at the end of the day, it's like now all this pathway to have a kid competing and being we have a lot of kids in our gym who they just came back from the World Championship and they are like 15, 16, you know, and they don't get any damage, not one bruise because it's no strikes, you know. So I believe...
Plus it's because of your system too.
That's what they say.
I want to talk about the system as well too.
So yeah, I believe he's not 5 years old, it's good to get in the sport, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Because I would imagine like with, say, a sport like boxing, for example, I mean, it's so head-based when it comes to, you know, your focus.
Actually, people don't know boxing is more dangerous than MMA.
100%. You know? I tell that to so many people.
When
you speak to a boxer and you speak to an MMA athlete, they're very different people.
Very different. Like, you need to understand, like, just statistically why. In boxing, you have 2 targets, head and body. In MMA, you have legs, or you have the takedown, submission, or whatever. And the point is like also the gloves, you know, it's a couple of interesting things about gloves in boxing. So the gloves in boxing are bigger. So they did a study when a bigger surface hit you, creates more movement of the brain in the skull, so creates more damage. No, it's a very beautiful movie, Concussion, which is talking about a rugby player, but it's the same concept into fighting, basically. And for who's interested about this topic, it's a very interesting movie to watch. Another point, like, you know, a lot of people don't know. If you get your boxing gloves, I don't know if you realize, but inside your gloves, you almost have like a stick.
Yes.
Do you realize that?
Yeah.
A lot of people think for gripping.
Right.
You know, the reality is that's the reason why a lot of people have started breaking their hands into the fighting, because of that stick you cannot close, and plus the boxing glove is very thick.
Yeah.
You cannot close your hands properly. So when you punch, because you don't have the structure of the punch solid and it's open, the wrist move and you injure your hands. That's why a lot of modern fighters, they have a lot of injury in their hands.
Yeah.
Why is that stick? That's crazy. That stick is actually called anti-shock. The reason that sticks is in is because of the Olympic boxing.
Right.
And they wanted less KO to happen, so the sport is Olympic. They put that stick, so right now you cannot close your hand, so your fist is not
So it's more of a point scoring exercise.
and it's open, so on the impact it's not gonna be that heavy.
Sure.
And that's have cut the percentage of the knockouts on the amateur level. It's all like
what would you do to replace that? What would you do for fighters to? I know I use gloves where there's no padding. Have you seen those mitts? And you're forced to really close your fist.
Yes.
And it teaches you to close your fist
Yes.
as well. Is that a glove that you would recommend fighters use when they're
what they
doing
want
bag
to do.
work, for example?
Okay, for pad works, I believe
Pads
the
and
best
bags.
gloves to use are smallest.
Yes.
So think about it like if I have a 16-ounce gloves hitting pads and I have all this volume around me, when I impact, it's so much room for me to injure myself. So when I do pads with my guys, I suggest them to use the 8-ounce glove laces so they get more support. And I really don't like that stick there because that causes a lot of damage. One thing I do with the gloves, I cut the stick out for pads.
Okay.
For sparring, you have to leave it because it protects the opponent.
Sure.
And I take the stick off, so now I can close and the structure of the punch, it's completely different.
That's
So
interesting.
that's something which I suggest every fighter to do. Or you get those, they're called, I don't know in English, but they're bag gloves and they're like completely open and the thumbs is out.
Right.
They're old school
Yes.
boxing
karate.
gloves. They're a bit
not-
different. You're using for hit the bags. You shouldn't hit the bags with big gloves.
Yeah, no.
Should be as small as possible. So now you can practice on impacting the wrist in the right way and not get those small.
It's funny that you said that. I had a friend of mine who's a boxer. He told me about these gloves and I since went and bought those gloves and it's changed the way that I punch the bag.
Completely.
It's really, I find that glove strengthens my wrist.
And it's another things I want to show you, right? Even people when they punch, they don't punch in the right way. So what I mean, if you close your fist like that, right? Okay. You see, so you're trying to have like tight of it, turn around. You see this part here, how soft it is. You feel it?
Yeah.
How it's still stable on this side, but very unstable on this side. Do you feel it? Listen to this. Do the same things. Put the thumb there, but with the thumb, squeeze towards your, what's called this finger here?
Index finger.
Index finger. So it starts to close towards down.
Ah, fuck yeah, wow.
Do you feel how rigid is here? And now, you see this tendon now, how it's in contraction? So that makes like a completely different way you impact. So that's a big mistake people does. They squeeze like that. But now this lane here, it's very, very weak. You can feel it, right?
Yeah.
But now try with the thumb to push towards the index finger. You see this tendon here?
Yeah.
You can see it in the camera.
I can see the burn.
Now it's solid,
How do you break bad habits of fighters?
Man, that's hard. It's something, you see, for example, Dustin Poirier, actually, he just retired now, but he always had like the habit
Great
of
fighter.
pulling the shorts on. No?
That's like a tell for some fighters, I can see.
Yes, it's sometimes as a coach, when I have an athlete which had already experience and is coming in the gym, sometimes I prefer have someone who comes from zero and I can teach them all in the right way.
A fresh body.
Because we all have a copy mechanism, even fighters with their habit, you just have to really go on repetition. But that's what I do sometimes when I study footage. I don't look only, he's southpaw right hands, I look the habit he has, and we prepare game plan also on that. That's the blessing of have a lot of footage, You can really study an opponent to details.
But how do you break the habits of your fighters?
Repetition, and find a way, for example, mental pathways to recognize that and make them really aware, And for example, a lot of fighters have the tendency to drop their hands, right? So one thing you can do, you tape them. No, I'm joking. You tape their hands. Even on the guard, I have like all this crazy stuff I'm writing. When you go if you come ever to Italy, you're gonna see my mom go crazy. Now it's all in her house. I wrote so many stuff. Like I have like papers on papers of stuff I've wrote about fighting. And one day I think it's gonna be very valuable.
You need to write a book, bro. That book is literally in the making, ready to be.
You know, one thing's about, for example, I discussed with my coach a lot, my striking coach, which many people don't know, Alfio Romanut. It's a legend in the sport, probably the best ever kickboxing coach Italy have produced. He produced multiple great champions.
Wow.
And we was discussing about the guard, no, how everybody tell you, get one hand here, the other hand's there. And I believe the guard shouldn't be like that. I believe like if we're looking at this camera here, not the hands next to the chin, I believe these hands should be in front of the chin.
Right.
Always. For a simple reason. First of all, let's talk about percentage again. If which are the most common shots? Let's get boxing. In boxing, straight shots, right?
Sure.
Jab,
Jabs.
cross,
Yeah.
jab, cross. So if I put my hands here, I already cover the trajectory of the shots which gets lands the most in fighting. Straight shots.
Right.
So if my hands is here, I already have a buffer to block the straight shots. Now, on the other hand, if you throw a hook from here, I'm already halfway to do this.
Yeah.
If you throw the other hook, I'm halfway to do that.
Yeah.
If I'm here and you're coming with a hook on this side, I'm coming all the way. And I'm not protecting myself already from the most common shot. So why I should not have something already to protect myself from that? And now, look at this. What do you think is faster? Straight line chin to chin and starting from this point? Or here, I'm already 5 centimeters behind. And now the line, if this is straight,
Yeah.
you know, so if I'm here, shop, there it is.
Yeah. You've added that extra couple of inches of reach.
Couple of inches and trajectory, straight to straight. My chin is in line with you. Boom.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going diagonal
That's
a bit.
right. Your
Right?
arm has to twist
Yes.
to turn to be to
Yes.
straight as opposed to
So
being straight.
it's a lot of things, and guard is actually something very subjective too. But I'm talking about if someone comes at the beginner, one hand's here, the other hand's in front.
Right.
No? And after you're gonna say, yeah, Renato, but did you see Mike Tyson? He's like this, right? He's having this peekaboo
Yes.
style, and the both hands, but that's Mike Tyson. He's only one of them. You know?
But he could
He's
get away
only-
with it, right?
Yeah,
He
and he's
developed
like,
that.
and he had one of the best coaches in the world
Plus, yeah.
who developed all things like, which for him, he didn't even need to worry about the straight punches because, okay, it's all like massive discussion. I'm talking about a guy who comes from nothing. Coach, what are you gonna get? What are you gonna get hit the most? Straight shots. So let's put something between you and the straight shots.
Right.
These hands there.
Yeah.
Right? Instead to here. Here, now.
For sure. What about, okay, so if you've got, and so positioning of that fist is important, right? It can't be like
Yes,
this. It's got
yes,
to be like this
yeah.
because you want to go straight,
Yeah,
right?
just also like physiologically, right?
Yeah.
If I'm start here, I have to add an extra turn. If I'm here, boom, I'm
You're trying to
turning
minimize the turns.
Yeah, of course.
Keep it really straight.
If I want to go to A to B, I'm gonna choose the fastest way to go to A to B, right? I'm not gonna complicate it and make different trajectory.
Of course.
You know?
And so what about, okay, I'm just playing devil's advocate. What about if you've got a fist in front here, you're now giving your opponent an extra measure for them to hit. So this action of hitting into the mouth, how do you combat that kind of perspective that the other fighter would see?
Well,
and
it's actually
capitalize on?
positive if I give him like a target to hit my hands.
Instead
He's
of
not
this
hitting
target.
the chin, you know?
Yeah, okay.
So I can keep the hands in control and I can really feel safer also and come to close distance, right?
Sure.
But after it's all about adjusting because the beautiful things about fighting, it's so many styles. You can have, look at Michael Venom Page, he fights with the hands down and he have knocked a lot of people out starting with the hands from there. But because he has another really great asset, which is his footwork. He's in and out, bam, he bleeds in, he exits out. So every fighter is a bit different. I do believe if someone start from the beginning, they have to be extremely technically. Fighters these days, they want to come to the gym and they want to fight. I needed to throw 1 million jabs before I can start sparring, not to fight.
Wow.
But now everything is quick in nowadays now. You want to come in like I just want to straight away.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because I really love when people come to the gym, like you, for example. They love the sport, they want to do it. But what I don't like when someone comes to the gym to that cocky attitude, and they're like, I want to fight. And I look at them, I do this, you probably notice that whenever someone new comes in with a lot of ego, they come in, hey, not even, you can see already so many red flags. Like if someone comes, hey coach, nice to meet you, I want to fight. No, I say, hey, I want to fight. No, you already know the type of trajectory. And I always do like this. I don't even look them in the eyes. I do like this. I look the body, I look the shoulder like this, and I look at them and I'm like, you can't fight, and I walk away.
Wow.
And now if the guy is really a fighter, he's gonna, hey, I want to fight. He's gonna chase you down, you know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
Because like,
You want to feel like they want it.
you have to. Like I say to a lot of guys, when they come to the gym, they have everything. I'm the one telling them, hey, don't fight. You don't fight. I always say, no, every man should have a fight, etc. Yeah, but some guys, you have a good, don't fight. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like do it for recreationally, do it for feel good. You're going to find people out there, you can see some now, it's Duplessis versus Hamza Chimaev fighting. You want to fight against those people? Those people that are coming to take you out, It's not a game. Like fighting is not a game.
It's hard to find that kind of brutal honesty in a coach, especially when you find coaches need to make money. And, when somebody comes in and wants to fight, the allure of money is there, but it's very rare to meet somebody with that level of brutal honesty.
You have to be like also realistic, And the point is like,
because we're not playing tennis.
I believe coaches these days have a way to make money. I'm one of example for that. I feel like, when I started posting about the technique, etc., I never made any money. Like all my content are 99.9% free. I have now a small subscription channel, but it's very in detail about something. And I still suggest if you're a fighter, you should subscribe because
100%.
It's really a library of the sport at the moment.
It's invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah. The knowledge that you share and the fact that you're doing a lot of it for free is incredible.
I do it 99.9% for free. And you know who was the first people to criticize me? Coaches.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, what are you doing, man? So before was different waves of criticism. The number one was like, hey, you can't post these things for free. This is stuff like we've been working like for all our life and you post that out for free? Fuck you, man. Like, don't do that. You cannot do it. Like, you don't show this for free. And I'm like, well, I want some fighter out there who has talent, has potential to see that and have the opportunity to become the best. And they go like, yeah, but what about your fighters? Now everybody's going to know the skills you bring. And I'm like, well, that's why I didn't show everything,
And it's good because then they're scared.
That's it. And the point is, the second wave of criticism was even more interesting. It's like, oh, you don't know nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, I do believe one thing. You know how much I'm obsessed about the game. I don't do nothing than this.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even come earlier to this podcast because I'm just doing this 24/7.
You're doing the training session, yeah. 100%.
I can guarantee you it's a very small question someone can ask me about the game and me not having answer about that. And I can guarantee you this. If you do ask me a question, I'm so invested and humble to go home, research until I know everything of what I don't know.
Yeah,
that's my power, right? And to tell those people like, oh, because when you're making it, like, it's sad. It's very sad, this about human nature. And it's when also are low. For example, if you see me succeed, you're happy, right?
Yeah.
I'm happy. I want to see this podcast become competition for Joe Rogan, you know, which we actually had a blessing to chat online together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I'm sure you're now on everybody's radar in the MMA world.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
And
lucky.
I'm very grateful that you're doing this podcast at such a beginner level.
Because
of where
you
I'm
know
at.
me from day one. I'm the same
100%.
person I always been.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing about you, man.
Of course.
But I'm excited about where you're heading. Like, fuck.
we heading in very, very beautiful places, brother. So the second level of criticism was like, you don't know nothing about that. And I'm like, whoa, if some of the best fighters in the world that contact me and they come in to work with me, they might have the reason and see something. But that's like the human nature, envy, right? Envy is a very cheap emotion and very sad emotion because when you see someone doing well, usually people have two ways, or to learn and try to do better or same, or try to discredit. And this takes a lot of energy. Like, I don't know how people have that time and energy. But the point is, brother, even a donkey, right? If you put him 8 hours a day to do MMA, he's gonna know what he fucking is doing. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
even the not most smart person in the world, if does that like how I'm doing, like 10, 12 hours a day, he's gonna become a master, you know? They say, you know, they do a project, right? And they have to make a porcelain cup, you know?
Yes.
And they have two group of people. One group of people, they have to produce matches of the pot possible. And the other group have to produce, it's called pot?
Yeah, like porcelain pottery.
Pottery,
Yes.
pottery. Okay,
Yes.
So it's two groups. One of them have to produce much of the porcelain pottery possible,
Right.
so much as number possible. The other group, they have to produce only one, but perfect.
Yeah.
Which one you think does better?
I'm that group. I will relinquish doing quantity over quality.
Okay, you know what's interesting? They did a statistic. The people who produce more of them, they end up producing better than the one who produce only one. You know why? Because of the repetition.
I get it.
Repetition. So you got it right in terms of mindset. You want quantity over quality. But quality doesn't come without repetition.
Sure.
Right? If you have only one shot to make it perfect, how you can make it perfect? No way. But if these guys here, they produce tens of thousands of them, at some point, boom, every time they produce one, it's perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
interesting.
That's a really interesting concept because like I battle with that constantly because yes, what I'm doing right now is just repetition. Like literally record, edit, and I just get better and better and better.
Yes.
But I do love that time where I can sit and just forge, spend hours.
But you know what you can do that? When you already are master on what you're doing.
1000%.
For example, for me, right now I can do that. Before I had to be in the trenches day and night and make the pots.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I had to do it until I can see where I'm making mistake and it's inevitable. After, once you know you can do something perfect, you can
refine it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's exactly, I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. I've been in the music industry for 30 years. That's a long time of making pots.
Yes.
It's a lot of pots. So I'm now in a position where I can do something where I can just put so much love and care into it and forge and tweak because I've done all the pots and I've gotten to this pot. It's really great to hear you say that because it reinforces in me that, okay, this is good what I'm trying to do.
Of course.
And I'm sure with yourself, your years of making pots has gotten to this point where you can tweak and refine these individuals that you're sending out into the world. Who I want to talk about, your fighters. You've coached some incredible fighters, and I've been in the gym and sparred with and just witnessed just the level of skill.
And you say something. They're my fighters.
They're your fighters.
You know,
100%.
That's what like people don't understand. And I want to put out there, I'm having the blessing and the privilege to be in the position to work with some of the best fighters in the world. Go to their camp, help them to prepare for great fights. Show up on their corner in UFC every weekend looking amazing, okay? I didn't choose that. I choose to be in the trenches with my people and build my fighters. No? So I'm very privileged. Like we have one of my fighters, which I cannot say it yet. I'm not gonna name who she is, but
I know
she's gonna get signed by UFC very quick, and we're just waiting for the contract, so that's why I cannot say it. But we have some incredible fighters. Percival Mwambi is fighting now. This guy is just an absolutely star. We have Fina Mesquita, which is I'm a world champion, undefeated as a pro. We have Alex Simon, super heavyweight.
I know, brown belt. She's
brown
now
belt
brown
now,
belt.
Alex Simon, super heavyweight. We're trying to find him a fight. There's not many massive guys like him.
He's a beast.
But we're gonna get him. We have Cooper Rush Royale, an incredible striker. And not only, he has more submission than knockouts, by the way, but
it's crazy.
We call him striker. Okay. And Rory coming up after all. Rory is with me since he was like 14, 15.
Wow. And
so many others, man. It's just like all these guys have training all around the world now. They're coming up. We had like now Omar. He came to see me from Italy. He's turning pro now. Excellent fighter. Alessandro, so many. It's like hard to, I'm not gonna even continue to say because it's so many of them. And some of them, they took different pathway also, because I always say to the fighters, like their luck, it's like they got in my hands. And I'm telling you, look, I don't like to be cocky, but I really look after my people in a very special way. And sometimes, what's the problem? Think about it like a guy who is lucky, he finds his first girlfriend and she's amazing. She is looking after him, give him everything, but he's like, I've been here a couple of years, this girl is not bad too, So what he does, he cheats on his girlfriends, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, fuck, now I know it's not
for anyone that doesn't get what he's saying, he's talking about coaches. He's cheating with other coaches.
So it's I always leave them to go, because with time they all come back. I have great fighters who I've coached, and now I left them to go to other teams, and I wish them nothing than the best, because at the end of the day, that's journey of life. What I know is I want their best, and if I want this, I'm good with myself, So it's so many things happening, very, very big things happening. Next year is gonna be massive for the team. Now I'm doing a seminar in Japan in September. I'm in Georgia for the IMAF World Championship.
Wow.
And also I'm in, I have another seminar in South America, still locking it in, all the details. But look, I'm so blessed, like from 2 years ago, I ended up doing all my seminar tour in Europe. Every single one of them sold out. People who wants to learn from my system, the mindset I bring on the table, and just like this concept of modern MMA I bring on the table, which I was one of the first, probably the first to really see MMA as a sport and really going away from the old school, which was saying like, oh, you should do these disciplines separated. And I'm like, but we're doing MMA, why we cannot do all together?
Of course.
And of course, you're using each discipline to refine your styles, but you have to try. If you play tennis, you have to play tennis every day, And why an MMA fighter doesn't do MMA every day? You're gonna become more complete on those gray area of the sport, like ground and pound, scramble, cage wrestling, and all of those concepts, which right now, like, it's the ABC of a fighter. You can use your striking to lift his hands up and find the opening for the takedown. You can use the fear of the takedown to drop his hands to catch your shot and find the opening for the strikes. And before, I was like telling to the old school that, and like, no, you can't do that. You have to do everything separate. And I'm like, this doesn't suit right for me, No. So now it's all a new movement, which I'm proudly one of the first to start that. And I'm just very excited. Seeing these guys of the modern MMA guys, let's be honest, I'm not taking nothing from the old champions.
Sure.
Because, like, if I will look at my interest, I will say, like, yeah, the old school is better. The reality is, the old school, the best in the world of the professional old school, they cannot compete with the best amateur in the world right now. So that's how big is the difference.
MMA,
It's insane, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Some kids out there who they will beat the oldest champions in 30 seconds, and they're amateur. So that's how the level, without taking away the pride and the respect of the legends of the sport. We're talking about, without those legends, we won't be here.
Yeah.
And that's have to be clear. So you always have to respect the old to let the new flourish. If you don't respect the old, you're not, you don't deserve to succeed. So I want to make this clear. I'm talking about skills-wise. Because
you're talking about evolution, right?
Evolution, you know.
Yeah. You respect
Before,
where we came from.
Nobody knew how to defend an armbar of triangle. Now everybody knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Before, if you're a good athlete who have like an armbar triangle, you could become a world champion. Now, no way. You know, you have to be complete in each department and in all the gray area, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of this new kind of influx of athletic fighters, you trained Merab and Ilia, right?
Yes.
So how did you find their skill set in comparison to the fighters that you train?
Look,
and
it's
fighters
not,
that are here
it's
in
not
Australia?
like the point is, like, just to make it clear, I had the blessing of them coming to visit me and share some knowledge. So they have coaches, they have great coaches, and all their success and credit goes to them. I just had the blessing to have them in my gym. I just like to be always honest, you know, and share some idea knowledge. And what I just had is the confirmation of, like, to be a great athlete, you just have to choose the right people around you, you know. And when you are coming from different places around the world and we meet in the octagon and we sharing knowledge and we speak in the same language, is insane. This means they're doing the right things, I'm on the right way. And we had those blessings, and it's like seeing beautiful how humble they are. They're like, "Coach, can I ask you this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can ask me. Can I ask you?" And I'm like, I'm the same. Like, it's not like, it's so many coaches out there, massive ego, they think they know everything. I think I'm dangerous because I want to learn always more and know more. So that's what I want to keep always alive in my inner self. I want to be curious. I want that fire to always be inside me, you know. If I think I know everything, I think that's
lost.
I'm that, you know.
What's the one biggest takeaway that you remember that you learned from your experience with those two fighters?
So the biggest things I've learned is really manifesting is the key, right? If you want to become one day the man you dream, you have to manifest it every day. But without the hard work, manifestation doesn't exist, you know? You have to put in the work every day. Those guys have all like a clear vision of what they want to achieve in the sport and who they want to be. And that's why the universe, God, is rewarding them with all the success they're having. And you know what? They deserve it all, you know? They work their ass off. Like many fighters, they never made it and they work their ass off, you know? But those are people who, they train every day.
And they're very deserving of this
discipline
success.
And everything, you know? So that's what I take the most. And is a lot of guys out there, you know, a lot of fighters that come, "Coach, you know, I'm going through this, going through that." I believe if you want to succeed, you find a way. If you want to fail, you find a reason, you know. You tell yourself the reasons why you should. "Oh, you know, my knee." I know fighters with no knees become world champion. I have fighters with broken hands become a world champion. So we have a very big power in our inner self as human, and we just have to find the key to open those doors to get this power out, you know?
Where do you see mixed martial arts in 10 years' time?
So you need to understand, we are actually at the beginning of the modern MMA era. What I mean with that, think about this. Before, when UFC was born, we had fighters from different discipline coming to a tournament to challenge to see which discipline is better, right? and jiu-jitsu was the number one.
Voice Gracie.
The reality, yes,
Rest in
the
peace.
reality about the sport is like this last. So think about this. That's crazy. In the last 50 years, combat sport have evolved more than in the last 5,000 years.
Wow.
Why? Because we have the opportunity to get judo in Japan, taekwondo in Korea, boxing from Europe and America. You know, to get all these different sports, capoeira Brazil, jiu-jitsu, whenever, to, hey, now we can be all together. And what do you know? What do you know? So the key of martial arts is sharing. All those coaches who they don't want to open themselves on sharing what they know,
They're limiting.
they are killing the growth of the sport, you know.
100%.
So this is the beginning. That's not actually.
That's crazy.
I call it the modern MMA era, but the reality, this is like the start.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think in 400-500 years, 600 years, people gonna look at this like, whoa. This is the first people who have actually put all the sport together, you know.
Yeah. They're going to look at this as like the start of when the first UFC came out, how primitive that was compared to here now.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
And we're already in, like I want to say, a very competitive and extremely
competitive.
evolved version of mixed martial arts right now.
Yes.
I can only imagine where it's going to go.
Look, you have people who are the champion, and it's already a guy out there who is 10 times better than them.
That's crazy.
But to be a champion, you have to have so many factors. You know, you learn, like now fighters are learning to not only be good on the skills, but like having, you know, some of them they have podcasts, some they're doing other things, and people want to watch them. Not only that's what UFC have done really good, telling the story about the fighters.
Yeah.
So now people can relate to them and be like them, etc. Right? So that's what's good. You know, a fighter these days have so many opportunity to make a good living, not only from fighting, but from just people like relate to him, you know.
And it's empowering as well too. I mean, imagine also too when people see your footage, and I also want to know, how does your system differ to everybody, other coaches out there, and what they do for their fighters? How does the Renato Subotic system differ?
So I seen my system like, imagine like a circle, right? And in this circle you have, imagine like on the edge of the circle, you draw a circle. Are some key points which are the structure of the circle, you know, is the ring of the circle. So without those points, you cannot really complete that circle. So it doesn't matter where you come in the circle, more time you spend, we're gonna end up at the beginning, you know. The key is a lot of factors. One of the keys is repetition, and you want like you know in yourself, like you can have a very valuable technique, but if you don't put the repetition on the technique, for you it's not gonna work, right? And after you have to put in the live movement and live speed and everything. So the system is it's evolving constantly. So imagine like it's a circle who constantly expands, right? Because one of the biggest things I do is take big attention of what's happening in my team, right? That's why it's good to have all your product, because if some mistake is repeating in the system, this means we have to fix the problem. No? So I'm very aware of all of that, and now moving forward is like so many things. Also, for example, think about a round. I divide the round in moments. So what I mean, if you think about a fight of 3 minutes, each minute is different window of things we do on minute 1, minute 30, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
All the things are studied to the minimal details. For example, also the area of the octagon, I divide them in 3 colors: green in the middle, yellow, and red, the area of the octagon. One thing I can put out there, because I put already, is 80% of the knockout in MMA happen on the red zone of the octagon. So what this mean? We don't want to be there, and we want to push the opponent there. Now on the ground and pound system I have color and intensity too. Like the red is a high pace ground and pound, high intensity, yellow medium, and green is like low pace ground and pound. It's all like system and rules. So if you want to ground and pound red, you cannot go back. You can shift between green and yellow, but once you go red and the coach calls you red, you have to go until imagine like when you speed with a car and the speed is going up, you cannot slow down. You can only go up or you can keep that speed.
Sure.
And it's like so many tactical things, so many things adjusting the system in regards to the opponent you have. If he's southpaw, if he's predominantly striker, wrestler, grappler, but more someone is in the system, more success, more percentage of winning is coming, you know? And of course, it's gonna be always some things you cannot predict, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about the sport. That's why, like, you have so many bet in favor in the sport, and like they lose, and you're like, whoa, how is that possible?
Just that one minute wrong movement, and then bam, you know. And I love that concept of the green, the yellow, and the red. And in the red zone, it's dangerous in one area, but then it's advantageous in another area.
Yes,
right.
Yes. Offensively, we want the opponent there. Defensively, we don't want to be there. And it's so many other things. It's all a system of striking, right, for MMA, which we discussed about that before, right? I can use my fear of the takedown to find the opening for the rest. And think about this. Think about if me and you, we fight now, right? And I shoot you a single leg, right?
Yeah.
And you have good takedown defense, etc. But I grab that single and I make you feel like I'm super strong. So I'm overpowering, I'm moving you around. And I'm going to let you disengage. I'm going to trap you. I'm going to let you disengage, and you're going to think in your mind, fuck, this guy's very strong. I cannot be there. But now I've installed a subconscious fear in your brain, and you're going to overreact whenever I fake a shot.
Right.
So when I disengage, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play like I'm going for a wrestling exchange again. You're going to overreact. You're going to try to catch me. You're going to expose yourself for the striking. Yeah. So using psychological pattern to identify opening in a fight, right? And all of those strategy which have nothing, not only to do with technique, but a lot of about how humans react.
And that's the fight IQ that you talk about.
That's it. That's all the key, you know. That's all behind every system and things. And all those systems, it's very important to stay. A lot of guys, you know, they want to learn from me and they maybe come like 1 year. You're not going to learn nothing in 1 year.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to even pay attention in you in 1 year. You have to put all your will and the dedication to really go forward. Nina is a perfect example. Nina, like, I don't like to say what I'm doing. Who is around me knows. I'd never say how many people I help, you know, and I don't want even to say it on the podcast here. But now, out of this, Nikolija Milošević is one of my main fighters at the moment, and she's 7-1 at the moment. She came in my team, and her record was 0 win, 1 loss.
Right.
So was a fighter who nobody will have invest in her, because why investing in a loser, right? But I saw some psychological attributes she had, and I said to him, you know what, nobody wants you, I take you. I take you, and I'm gonna, but we have only one deal. You're gonna stay in the system, and you're gonna follow everything ABC. She is the perfect Coach Subotić prototype, okay?
Yeah, she's incredible.
She never won a fight by knockout. Now she's knocking every girl out one after the other. Her style, if you watch her fights, her pro debut and you watch her, have completely changed. She's good in every aspect. She's phenomenal in the gray area of the sport, and she is like a full 100% product of the system. You look at her and you already have some big understanding of, hey, wait a second, if I'm a fighter, I have 1 loss, and I come to this coach, and this coach takes me to 7 wins straight, not in 5 years. She did it in 1 year, 1.5 years. That's insane.
That's crazy.
You know?
I love to also the game plans that you implement too, where you want to take as least amount of damage as possible, because you know that there's more fights ahead, because you've
Of course.
obviously got that, and also have the most amount of dominance
Yes.
Least amount of damage, most amount of dominance.
Yes.
To not only send that message to your opponent, but to other opponents. And also empower your fighter too, right?
100%.
Yeah, I see it in some of the fights that she's reposted.
She is like a completely different fighter than when she came.
Yeah.
She really went all in trust, because like trust goes both way, right? I can put you all the trust I want in an athlete, but if the athlete doesn't trust me, my information, they're not gonna be fully taken, you know?
Yeah.
So trust goes both way. Like in any relationship, friendship and things, you know, and that's the beautiful things about producing your athlete is how connection get tested all the time. So through struggle, right? And even, yeah, she has to trust me, but like, and I have to find an athlete who is deserving to really get full of, I really put in her some extra than what I put in other people. I'm saying like, I put a lot on a lot of people, but I really went deep in some things with her, and you see the result clearly. And the point is, I needed to find also an athlete who is like, hey, we're gonna fight 7 times in 1 year and a half. Like someone have to be crazy like she is, you know, to deal with so much pressure, so many weight cuts. We travel everywhere. New Zealand, Tahiti, Spain, name it, we've been there.
That must be so gratifying for you as a coach.
It is.
To find a fighter like
I'm
that.
very
like a
privileged, not only her, but Fa and so many others, man. Like it's, and it's beautiful to see also these women who are leading as example for a lot of young girls out there, you know, who they're really looking up to them as an inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, they message them, they message me and say like, I can't believe, coach, like you're really dedicating so much time to training like girls. Yeah, because I don't care who it is, you know. For me, is a lot of people controversial. I had like one comment which I'm gonna show you after, so you're gonna have a laugh. Alice is is a boxer actually. She came to train MMA now, and I did one session when I'm holding pads for her. And someone commented on her video like, "Hey, you're such a beautiful girl. You shouldn't do that. You're gonna ruin your beautiful face. And you, coach, you should be ashamed to let her do that." And I'm like, man, like let people have the freedom to choose to do what they love. 100%. And that's why I want to say, like, whenever you do something great, you're gonna have people always criticize you. And
that's that tall poppy syndrome we have in Australia.
And you know. Yes. Oh, massive, man, massive. And I tell you one thing. It's interesting this part, you know, because a lot of, especially here in Australia, I feel like, look, I will get the shit too. Think about if someone comes from another country and this guy is killing it, you know, I will be like, fuck, let me see what this guy is doing good. But I wouldn't try to put him down in any shape or form. But I feel like jealousy is it's something which doesn't benefit you. So if you feel jealous, don't get me wrong, I felt jealous too, but every time I do feel that, I'm like, why I'm jealous? You know why? Because someone is better than me. That's the truth.
You can look at jealousy in a positive light, Vic, and learn more aspects about yourself and find, why is it, like you said, why is it I'm jealous? Is it because...
Why?
Yeah. Are they, am I jealous of their success, or what can I learn from that jealousy? What is it from that feeling it is that I want that they have, for example? And I look at envy as sometimes this confronting monster of oneself.
Yes.
So it's more about yourself than it is about that other person's success.
100%.
And that's probably why people...
100%.
It's easier to hate and it's easier to cast judgment than it is to understand and appreciate and really...
And you know, it's very interesting
support.
because like you need to have like... Because when you expose... And if you know me more deeply, like I'm actually a very private person. I never spoke about private things, very rarely.
Which I'm grateful that you have said these things that you have today on
because
this podcast.
I'm with someone I really know. You're doing this to help someone out there who needs
100%.
that. So if my experience can help,
Yeah.
And only one person I already feel grateful, you know. But it's very interesting. No, it's as you know, I don't really like to expose myself, but I had the blessing to achieve a lot of success in social media, and I have like the blessing and the privilege. I'm so grateful at the moment to be one of the most followed MMA coach in the world.
Can I just touch on that quickly? I remember when we first met, I don't know if you remember this, but you liked a picture of mine because I was dressed in some outfit or something like that.
This guy, guys, you have to follow him for how he dressed, man. He's like, I'm trying. This is my best outfit, by the way, today, just to
You look awesome, man.
to try to match you, brother.
But we just lost that camera, but doesn't matter. What I was going to say is that we when I started following you, you were fighting, and at the time I was into mixed martial arts, and I could see that you were doing so well, and it was captivating to watch your success. And I remember at the time you had hardly any followers, and now
People don't realize I'm the guy. I just understood the game.
Yeah.
No, but I'm the guy who didn't have social media. I wouldn't never post nothing about it, and I was very, very low key, right? But that's interesting, no? Because when you put yourself out there, you need to understand a lot of positive things comes, but a lot of negative too. You know, 100%. A lot of people, they're not happy to see you doing better, right? Yeah. But you know what I like to say is like, I've been through all of this. I can handle a couple of haters, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they are there. And you know what I love about my community, who is very technical? Like, my people who are following the sport, they're technician about the sport. So whenever someone come with some hate comments, like, I don't even look at the comments anymore. Sometimes I try to see if the product I deliver it's interesting for them, etc. But I'll be honest with you, everything I put out there right now, it's having a lot of positive energy coming back. But when something negative comments, some jealous person try to comment, I don't even need to say. I have these soldiers in my page who they're like demolishing them. I'm like, guys, like let them, because I love. Like, when someone really hates you, it's actually very positive. I tell you why. Because their hate sometimes highlight something you are doing wrong. So I'm very attentive when people comment something. For example, if they say to me something and I'm like, oh, let me see why this guy... And I have to thank a lot of haters because they help me to fix so many problems, For example, like, oh, your mic is shit, like, whenever. Okay, I got better mic, now getting better, you know what I'm saying? Sure. So sometimes you have to take... if you've been...
like constructive criticism, but it's delivered in the wrong way.
You have to be able to handle... someone who don't like you know what I'm saying? And it's part of the journey in anything, man. Like, people, you can do the music with love, passion, and that's your music. It's like, same, this is my music. I'm very happy if I'm able to give... I'm grateful if I'm able to give some people emotion to make their life better and feel they can get a lot from that, because a lot of my contents are also about like speaking about mindset and other things, because at the end of the day, we all deserve an opportunity, but we have to be the one who take the opportunity and make it something valuable, because opportunities are out there. You need to use them. I started putting this content, so any guy around the world, I was one of that. I started from a small village of 4,000 people. I wish I had all this content. I was in my gym, in my legal gym, with a couple of students, like, let's try this, let's try that. And it took me so much longer. And you know what's interesting? Like, a lot of techniques which now are very, very valuable. When I was like a kid, I had still footage and stuff, like, I was showing those techniques, and people of the old school, they were like, you can't do that. The Dagestani Handcuff is a funny story. 12 years ago, even more, I went to one very well-known black belt in Italy, and I'm like, look, I'm developing this system because I want to control the opponent on the ground, but I want to be able to punch him, right? So I'm controlling the wrist in this way, I pull it in, and now I have these hands free so I can punch. And he goes like, he didn't even wanted to look what I'm showing. He was like, you cannot do that. You don't do that. And I'm like, why? Like, if I can do it and is successful in the gym, why could not be able, I'm not able to do it in a fight, or my students to prepare that. And Khabib came along, and like everybody's talking about this Dagestani handcuff, and my students were doing that. I'm not saying, so in a parallel world, I'm not saying I invented or somebody invented before me. It's very rare, let's be honest, it's a very rare in this industry to say like, MMA is a planet we almost discover everything, if not everything. It's nothing really new. Only things you can improve is like a system of how you're doing things. But to find new techniques is very hard, you know? But I'm saying like, on the other sides of the world, I was aligned with some great legends who were doing the similar things. I was like trying in my small village in a 4,000 people village, you know, small gym. So, and after was like, my students, when Khabib came along, they're like, coach, he's doing the things we practice in the gym.
It's
and
the
I'm like,
Renato handcuff.
no, never. It's not invented by me, you know?
I know.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's hectic. I'm conscious now of my cards and we lost that camera. But
What time it is? Just sorry.
it is nearly 4:15.
I have to just be in the gym at 5:30.
Oh yeah, we got
so
time.
in live, you know, I'm back to the gym.
We got time.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So he's here and then back straight to the gym, not going home. I do want to talk about two things. One in particular is relationships.
Yes.
And I remember we talked about it before. How do you juggle? Before you answer this question, can I chuck a battery in that thing? Because I really want that angle for you. One moment. The technical stuff we got to deal with, huh?
Yes. I'm just gonna
Go do your thing.
Man, if you start a relationship, it's gonna be 1 hour and a half.
Well, you've got to go off to a training session, so we can make this one a little bit quicker. But how do you juggle everything that you're doing and relationships? And you're single right now?
Yes.
Okay. How do you find a woman that's going to fit into your world?
Look, I believe in simple things. You know,
Right.
I believe I believe nothing is more powerful than love. You know, we all like in this tough industry, and when you speak about that, people are like, oh, like you're not tough. You know, everything is about love. Like you love your parents, you love your kids, you love your partner and your friends. You know. So what I believe is like the secret for me is find a simple person who understand I have a very important role in the society with what I'm doing. For me, look, I had everything I wanted in my life. From started from nothing to can be in any country in the world and do anything I want. So for me, I believe the most attractive things is when something is simple, you know, and real. Because I believe in these days here, right, with social media, etc. Anybody can find an easy replacement, you know. Especially for a girl, it's even easier, right? She can go online and find a guy for every day of the week if they want. And if you're a successful man like us, that's not a problem, you know.
Sure.
You can find someone to get company with and drink a coffee or go for a dinner whenever. But I believe that's what's actually the issues. I believe because it's so many opportunity out there, people are not really looking after their relationship, you know, because at the end of the day, love should be something which makes you better. That's the simple. I suggest to anybody who really is looking for the right person, first of all, to be in a happy place when they're looking for someone, because you don't want to think all your problems in life they're gonna solve by finding the right person. You should be in a good place to find the right person. If not, you're gonna find the wrong person. You know.
Yeah.
So I believe two people together should be like, your partner should be an asset. You should be an asset for your partner to do better in her life, no, and bring value. But I feel these days relationships are very cheap. You know, people are giving themselves very cheap, and they're not really protecting their intimacy. And I believe in that. I believe if someone comes in my life, he's a simple person who just like wants to be happy, you know. Because at the end of the day, I've been through everything, and I believe a lot of people love problems. I don't. You know, I like
You
when
like peace. You like
I
your
like peace. I like to. I'm very loyal in everything I do. You know, I believe it's nothing more attractive than being loyal. It's something which these days people talk about it and they are like, "Oh, really? That should be the ABC of a relationship." You know,
100%.
shouldn't be like and it's nothing more attractive than for me, a person on my side who's maternal and that. But look, just to accept. I've really put basically 80% of my life for this, and if someone comes in there, to respect that, you know, that's definitely the most important part.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I'm very conscious of your time and so appreciative of your time. I do have one last thing that I want to say, is that when I came into that gym, I was looking for a lot of gyms, and I remembered that you were a trainer at the gym, and at the time, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to dabble in doing any kind of mixed martial arts training. And you gave me, I want to say, almost like the opportunity to come and train with your elite fighters. And I cannot tell you how much that meant to me. Like, it literally meant to me. And I remember when I got this shirt. When I got this shirt from you, right?
That's one of the first.
Yeah. Can I tell you what this shirt meant to me? This shirt here. This is MMA Family Fight Team shirt. This shirt I wore in the gym as a badge of honor. I was honored to be a part of that team. Even though I wasn't like one of your fighters, but I walked around there with this feeling like I need to represent this family team properly and conduct myself in a way in the gym that was, you know, honoring what you've created in the gym, man. So I just wanted to share that moment with you and just how powerful that was for me, and that I feel like you and I have this kind of weird connection that I don't know if you have with your fighters and that, but I absolutely love that you and I can talk about things like fighting and mindset, and then we can talk about girls and talk about fashion and stuff. And that's such a beautiful trait, that you have so many layers to who you are. And I remember when I wanted to do this podcast, when I thought about it, you were one of the first persons that I was hoping was going to be on.
Of course, brother.
And I just didn't know whether you would be interested at all, but the fact that you're here, I cannot tell you. Like, you had these dreams and visions and manifested. I manifested this. I didn't manifest the camera switching off.
It's okay.
But I manifested you being here and us having this kind of conversation. I wanted to have this kind of conversation. I didn't want it to be like, I've got so many questions here that I didn't get to ask, but I'm glad that we spoke about what we spoke about, because that's more of what I really wanted to talk about. I am not as knowledgeable about fighting in the fight industry as maybe some podcast interviewers would be, and they'd get very, you know, succinct about certain things. But I wanted to talk about you and your mindset, your psychology, because that was, to me, the greatest impact that it has had on me. Even though the training and the skills and I obviously need to do a lot more of it, it was more the psychology of what you brought to my life.
And I want to tell you this, like, you do wear that shirt with honor.
I do.
And that was the concept of family fight team. You know, a team is not only the fighters, the warriors who compete. A team is built by a lot of people around. What are you doing now? And giving some visibility and some opportunity to Fa, Cassie, and some other fighters or musicians,
Nina as well too, yeah.
Anybody, you know. It's very important. Like, you have people in the team who they're never gonna fight, but they're gonna help the team more than the fighters.
100%.
So I'm very grateful. We are in this journey of life, and we share this path together, you know. And I'm learning a lot about fashion from you. So
Today I've learned a lot about life from you, man, and I hope that anybody watching this has also gained what I feel like I've gained from this. I feel enriched. I love to walk away from these episodes feeling like I have now added to who I am. And even at my age of 51 this year, right?
Which, guys, he
crazy.
doesn't look 51, like 31 minimum.
No, but you know, when you get to this age, you feel like you know everything. But my mantra nowadays is I know nothing. And having guests like yourself on here just really enriches me and it builds me up and helps me evolve to a greater sense of self. And I hope that people watching also feel that way as well. So, man, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Man, I could talk to you for days.
We have to do it again.
We're going to run this back, man, for
Done.
sure, for sure.
Man.
But thank you so much, man.
Thank
I
you,
really
brother.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. God damn. What an episode. That's it. We killed the cameras. We killed the cameras.